Timothy Bradley, Paulie,
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather, Devin Alexander, and whoever the fans want to see.
Yeah. Listen, I told you give them something visual. So you went ahead and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table. Yeah.
Rollo Jenkins, boxologist, Zone 6, Dre, BT Pound, 78 Fight News, Blood Boxing, Blood Fists, Boxing Beats and Rhymes, Female Boxing Fan, Carter J, Pull Counter, Joker Boxing, D Styles, the whole YTBC.
All right, man. Yeah. We back at you with another video. Y'all know what it is, and y'all know what it ain't. It's going down live in HD. Got a few moments of spare time. You know what I'm saying? I know today Friday. Friday for everybody is going down. I know that a lot of people will probably be jumping on, specifically Smoke. Smoke do his Free Smoke Friday podcast, and this just seemed to be a good gap for a lot of us. You've been cleared out the week, getting off work, whether you work the night shift or mid shift. You know how it go. Y'all know how the weekend is. It's the weekend. It is what it is. Do me a quick favor, y'all. Press the like button as you come in. Press the like button as you come in, because I know some of you guys stop in and stop out just to kind of see, what's going on. You want to check the temperature. You want to see if the conversation's for you. While you listen to this, before you click past it, hit the thumbs up. Shout yourself out in the thing so I can give you a shout out. Leave a comment of what's happening or what's good. I hope all is well is with you and your family and what's going on. Share the link as well too. That's all you got to do. Just share the link. If you want to stay, you can stay. Y'all know how it go. Just casual talk. It's a cool open panel channel. I might open up the panel, which is probably 90% of what I'm probably going to do. I'm probably going to open it up to get y'all thoughts and y'all positions on the conversation at hand. Now, I understand that on the East Coast, it's 8:46 and 7:46 in Central Time Zone, and it goes on and on and on. So we got an 8, 7, 6, 5. So I know some of the Cali people may not be woke, but they can catch it in a few, because we'll probably be stretching this out for probably an hour or two. I always set aside an hour or two for us to politic. Now, speaking of politic, in the subject at hand, I want to speak on some stuff that I've been kind of watching, and I want you guys to understand this about me. I don't do the videos in a way that's sporadic or on schedule or routine, because there's a lot of information to be absorbed on sports, each individual sports. And you kind of got to get the momentum of seeing what's going on, because you can't get redundant and you can't get bored seeing and listening to the same things. I even get bored myself talking about the same things over and over and over again. There's already a plethora of YouTube channels and content creators talking about all kind of shit that can occupy your mind. And then you choose to say, well, do I want to listen to Zone 6, or do I want to scroll through TikTok? Do I want to look at Instagram thoughts and, your subscriptions to your OnlyFans girls you got, whatever fuck you got. It's a lot of competing enterprises within the realm of social media and content creating. And there's a plethora of topics. I mean, there's everything damn near on YouTube. You got a video game community, sports community, baseball community, cosplay community, nerd community, talking about space and science, historical guys, political guys talking about social issues, PED use, and overall the lack of self-control. Now, that brings me to my point. This is Sports Talk number 3. We're going to talk about sports and how these headlines and these subject matters affect sports, in my opinion. And as usual, always engage whether you agree or disagree. It is what it is, right? So in the game of politics, right? You got politics, you got social issues, and then we got the PED use, and we got lack of self-control. Now, what do I mean by these words that's typed up here, and how does it relate to sports? Well, I want to start with the politics. And it's kind of a blend of consciousness. And I just want to say this, in my opinion, man. I want to get this off my chest. A lot of you may know who Dr. Ben Umar Johnson is or ain't. Okay? I like Dr. Ben Umar Johnson. Just for a brief synopsis of those who say, no, I don't know who that is, tell me who it is. Some of you guys don't say, yeah, I'm familiar with Dr. Ben Umar Johnson. Dr. Ben Umar Johnson is a clinical psychologist who is a Pan-Africanist. Pan-Africanist is just, uniting all colored folks together in an attempt to just pull resources together and create a brotherhood, a political structure, a nation-building tactic worldwide. Pan-Africanism. Okay? And nothing wrong with that. A lot of people have practices within their own cultures. Asians have a code, or whites have a code. Most people refer to it as white supremacy, but white people have a code. Latino people have a code. And basically what Umar Johnson is trying to say is, or try to implement and get you to be developing in your conscious mind, is black folks need to stick together. Okay. Now, let me insert. Obviously, it's my channel, so I got to talk about my position. Because one thing you're going to get is when you talk about this bland, like you giving a forecast, and you don't say anything, and people kind of be like, okay, well, motherfucker, what am I listening to you for? I could just go listen to Umar Johnson. What does this have to do with you? So for me, and I'm going to say this again, over and over until the day that I die, or unless God gives me a different position. And I'm going to give you my position so we can comb through the sport so you can see what my disagreements are. First of all, I don't believe in Pan-Africanism shit. This is no slight to black folks or anything like that. I don't believe in none of that. I don't believe in I don't believe in that. I believe in black power. Black folks. I'm not African American. I don't know nothing about no foundational black American. I don't know nothing about no Moors. I don't know about Nigerians, Jamaicans, Caribbeans, none of that. I don't have any issues with those people, but everybody is for themselves. I don't give a fuck what you niggas say. Niggas are self-satisfied themselves at your expense, and this includes Dr. Ben Umar Johnson. So ain't no pan shit with me, because I don't trust you niggas. I don't like niggas. You can't trust a nigga around no piece of pussy. As soon as you throw a piece of pussy in there, all this shit go out the window. So he can say that shit for somebody else. Now, I respect it. And I respect the idea, but when it comes down to me, power, 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 okay? Black power, strength, loyalty, being an outstanding gentleman, being respectful and creating space and giving other men and people their space, and learning where your civil liberties end and where your civil liberties begin, and stay the fuck out people's business. That's pan for me, pan motherfucking life. Fuck pan whiteness, pan Latino-ness, pan Asian-ness, fuck all that shit. That's bullshit. Because a nigga will sell you out to satisfy his motherfucking self. A motherfucker do things to his own goddamn family, and you think I'm supposed to unite with these fuck niggas? I don't trust shit from a nigga. Fuck with a nigga. We can build a house together. We can fucking make a play together. We can make content together. We can exchange ideas together. But you think I would trust a nigga with anything that's detrimental to me in my intimate space? Fuck no. One piece of money in some situation or issue, it's all shit go wrong with niggas. White, black, Hispanic, green, purple, black. Throw a piece of ass in the workspace, you see how niggas start getting. I don't trust shit. I don't trust none of you niggas. I don't fuck all that. I fuck with you, respect you at the goddamn door. That's it. I ain't paying shit. And when I say paying, I ain't talking about payment. I'm talking about Pan-African. I'm not none of that shit. So I respect Umar. I respect those positions, but I'm black, power. That's what I'm saying. Not to oppose anybody else. It's just respect space. I don't go to no nigga house and spend the night. Okay? If he got daughters and shit, I don't do none of that. I don't talk to no man wife. See, but other niggas like to do shit like that. Other niggas like to try to do the one-up thing and try to fuck you over and try to get into an intimate space around you and then wreck some shop. That's why I don't fuck with Pan-African shit. I don't fuck with nothing on no Pan-nothing unless it's militant. Because see, when it's something that's militant, niggas have to get their shit together and it ain't no girl or no money or things in place that will make niggas cross each other. See, out here in the real world, see, niggas like to cross each other. Niggas like to do weird shit, set each other up, shoot each other, and all that kind of shit. So I don't believe in Pan-Africanism, right? That's not my stick. No disrespect to it, but I'm all about seizing power and control of one's self. Learning where your civil liberties end and where yours begin. Where it ends and where it begins. Mine's end at the doorstep of another man's house. Hey man, how you doing? Get the fuck off my property. Okay, have a good day. I have no right to cross over the threshold of somebody else's liberties. But niggas don't know that. So I don't believe in no paying shit. Ain't no we all hold hands and all that because you hold somebody's hand and then nigga be looking at your goddamn wife. You had to kill a nigga. See what I'm saying? I don't got time for all that kind of shit. You can't trust niggas around your kids. You can't trust these people to teach your kids with all this weird shit going on in the atmosphere and politics. So I don't believe in none of that shit. Y'all free to do what you want to do. I respect you. You respect me. Case closed. Now, how does this fit into sports? Now that you got my motherfucking understanding, okay? Hopefully that's clear. Dr. Ben Umar Johnson, I don't know why he continues to bring Pan-Africanism and political issues into sports and recreation. Now, I know, I get it, and I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of this cloak of black people can't do shit. And it's most of these African-American motherfuckers. Black people know what they here to do and what is and what ain't. Black people don't have time for this shit. It's these other people that are identifying with these other spectrums of blackness and brownness, okay, that are coming in misrepresenting black folks. Let me tell you something, man. I don't have a fucking problem with Deion Sanders and what he's doing at all. Because life is already hard, as you know. Life is already going to throw you curveballs. Whether you a man, a woman, boy, girl, and however you identify yourself, life is already hard itself. The elements alone will kill you if you're not properly sheltered and protected within a blanket of security or a communal type situation. You couldn't survive 30 days. Niggas these days can't survive 30 days in the woods. Even the nigga that go out there and hunt with all this new technology and bullshit, truth be told, them niggas can't survive without the technology. So life is hard already. So you want to tell me that we got to stay under this cloakness of fucking white supremacy at every turn. There's no escape from it except uniting under Pan-Africanism and helping African nations, and that's going to get us out of this shit. You can't go coach a football team with your son on it. This Deion Sanders now. Deion Sanders, he can't be a Hall of Fame great football player, and then say, you know what, this is my contributions to fucking black society. I have fucking children. My obligations is to my fucking family. Okay? And that's what Dion is demonstrating. To me, it's inspiring that this father is involved with his process in development, in growth and development of his children and young men of all walks of life. He's already went to a guy that the man is a Hall of Fame football player. The man played in Atlanta. Okay, Atlanta fucked that up. I don't know why we let him go, but that's Atlanta. An all-black city. He's played for the Falcons. Respect there. I grew up on Dion prime time. He was the man that did his thing back then when we had the Georgia Dome. He went to Dallas. He went to 49ers. He went with the Baltimore Ravens. Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, great broadcaster, great football mind. And this is what he has to offer to the world. The man went to college. The man knows speed. The man knows athleticism. Okay? And let me pause right there with this sports and recreation shit. Let me tell you something, man, what a motherfucker told me, and I'm going to tell it to y'all. In order to sleep well at night, the best thing to sleep on is a mattress. Money, adventure, travel, training, recreation, education, security, and success. Somebody told me that. I think it was God. He told me that one time. Okay? In order to sleep well at night as a man, and all of us on here, any the people that's listening to my voice that may share this and replay it back, mattress, money, adventure, travel, training, recreation, education, success, and security. That's, if you can hit those bullet points on the mattress and balance those areas that I just named with that acronym, mattress, you're good. Sleep well on your mattress. Remember that every time you go to sleep and you sleep now on, I don't give a fuck if it's an air mattress. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps and perform in those realm of life. And there's more to it than that. You develop that system how you want to. But notice I said recreation though. Okay? Notice I said recreation. I'm sick of this notion that sports guys are these dumb slave niggas that's somehow washed and rinsed themselves back into slavery and they just don't know it. Ooh, the white man got you again. That shit is getting on my fucking nerves. A nigga can't even be good at basketball, football, and track no more, man. And without it being attached to it, somehow the white man is extracting all of your talents and all of your energy and using you, and he's just paying you really $1 million just because it's a bigger play at hand. I'm sick of this shit about sports, man. I'm sick of this shit, this racism shit in boxing. I'm sick of this racism shit in every aspect of fucking life. When you conscious niggas ain't got no weapons to do a fucking thing. You niggas don't have no weapons to do nothing. You niggas don't have no technology to do a fucking thing. But you niggas got so much fucking mouth. That's all niggas do all day is run they fucking mouth. Can't swim, jump, read, or write, but they run their mouth about what other niggas should be doing. This shit is ridiculous. That's the fucking problem. It ain't fucking being a pilot. It ain't being a fucking plumber. It ain't going back into your community and voting. It ain't Donald Trump. It's you niggas worried about everybody's shit but your own. This nigga been working on the school for 30 years. And these niggas still ain't got that school up in Pennsylvania, up in Philly, where all them niggas need all the fucking help they can get. This nigga still ain't got a school erected yet. Ben Umar been working on the school for 30 years. And there's been a whole bunch of niggas that's been exposing him, which I don't agree with either. But there's a whole bunch of niggas exposing him and his mishandling of the school and not wanting help for the school. Lord Jamar, guy in the rap community, him and Rod Digger had a podcast. I don't know if it's still around. It just don't lost some momentum. But Lord Jamar was on the line with Ben Umar. He was making his rounds around YouTube. And they asked Ben Umar, what could we do to help you? Everybody has reported to try to help this man. A lot of HVAC guys have came up to ask him for help, and how can they help and how can they assist him with the school. A lot of people are encouraged about the school. A lot of people think the school is not a bad idea. A lot of people like what he's saying about the school, and it still ain't fucking completed. That's the bottom line. It still ain't fucking completed. It ain't got nothing to do with no black folks. You so entwined with all these African niggas over here. Why haven't they funded you the money fucking yet? Why haven't they cleared out space in fucking Ghana and all the Nigeria and South Africa and all these spaces and spots that you fucking love so much? Why don't you have the school erected in Africa? Why haven't they given you the money to erect the school in Philly? Since you so fucking paying, it's 1 billion plus Africans on this earth. God damn it. The most by any race, more black people or brown, whatever the fuck you want to call them, more African people on this earth than anything, or black, or colored, whatever the fuck you want to call them. You still haven't erected the school nowhere. Never. Nada, zero, goose egg, you're a loser, nothing, negative, not a goddamn thing, Ben Umar. And you continue to run your mouth about political issues and throw that shit on. This ain't just the athlete, they threw this shit to the rappers too. I get it, I understand it. I am not looking for a guy who is a Hall of Fame quarterback who has played football at the highest level, went through sports and recreation, okay, to be responsible for a whole bunch of you disloyal niggas that are fucking the thing walking. They can't stay out of a bitch DM. All you think about is pussy all day. Why the fuck would I opt out of my fucking destiny that God has put in front of me to help people, whether they end up being black or white? Ain't that shit, nigga. That's how God lined it up. I'm supposed to opt out of my fucking destiny to reach back and go out of my way to fuck with niggas who can't stop fucking hoes. Niggas who can't stop worrying about bitches all day. Niggas who can't wait to cross another nigga up and gang all that ignorant shit all day. Nobody has time to clean all of that shit up. It's going to take God himself to come down here to change that shit. Or it's going to take some aliens to come down here and fix this shit. Or the earth itself is going to have to say, you know what? I'm going to release a virus so the earth is going to have to do it. Ain't nobody and no systems on this earth as it stands gonna do shit about the plight of African American people that are suffering because of self-inflicted wounds that nobody wants to talk about. And I'm supposed to expect Deion fucking Sanders to take his whole life, swerve all the way fuck around. No, you don't. Deion, hey, listen, my nigga, I made the right choices in life, and I know a lot of other niggas who did. Keep coaching football, my boy. I don't need nothing from you. I'll see you at the next game. If I want to look at it, I will. If I don't, I don't. Salute to you, brother. Keep doing your thing. Don't listen to that nigga. I don't need your help down here. Keep doing your thing with your family, bro. You don't owe me shit. So I'm telling Deion, don't worry about that. He'll lie. He talking about some other niggas and he talking about some other shit. I don't need Deion Sanders to come down here, wipe my ass, and take care of me as a fucking black man because he was somehow an NFL football player. What the fuck that got to do with anything? He's not responsible for that. And neither are you, Ben Umar Johnson. Let's keep it a buck. So I don't know how this dude and these conscious motherfuckers who I'ma smash on today in this boxing shit, because a lot of you fuck niggas come over here with that shit in boxing, don't know a goddamn thing about boxing. But soon as somebody say something that is true, backed by evidence about a person that look like you, then all of a sudden they racist. Then it come out, it be like, well, that was a good point. Nobody owes you shit. It's already understood that if people gonna be racist, they gonna be racist. You niggas are racist. You niggas are racist for pussy. You niggas will do anything for pussy. So what the fuck is you talking about? You niggas will do anything to snort powder and do drugs and to self-satisfy yourself. You niggas will cross your whole family out for some pussy and to cross somebody. So don't tell me shit about no loyalty, disloyalty, obligations, personal responsibilities, my obligations to the black communities. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I'm sorry, the black community I do, but you African American niggas, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, because you niggas are shaky. You niggas are bullshitters. Always talking that African shit and bringing it to sports. Why is Ben Umar he don't even know nothing about sports like that? You supposed to be a political activist and you getting on Dion. Dion already went to a HBCU school and did what he had to do. Guess what the niggas did? Guess what the niggas did when he was there? Broke into his office, broke into his car, his son's car, some shit. Criminality. Breaking into the man's shit. The man donated his salary, which he was underpaid. So he gave you quality Hall of Fame pedigree for cheap. So don't get on here telling me that black people don't want to contribute to their own people. The man was at Jackson State, HBCU, and they broke into his office. They broke into his son's car. He was underpaid. Then he took the salary and donated most of it back to the school, bro. And then he brought eyes and ears to that campus so that they can continue from there to build. He done a fucking enough as a solo man who's an athlete, not a politician. He's an athlete, not a politician. If an athlete is one of these, because here's the thing. They call it student athlete for a reason, because there is a space where in the realm of athletics, if you are an athlete, you can be trained and have dual talents. You can have a talent for poetry. For instance, Muhammad Ali, to touch on some boxing, Muhammad Ali was well spoken. Muhammad Ali grew up with a mother that was a school teacher. Okay? Muhammad Ali had great poems, great rhyme schemes, and he had great political awareness and self-awareness. Everybody not going to be as thorough and cool as Muhammad Ali. Every man ain't the fucking same. So I don't expect the same. Man, this shit like potluck trying to get some shit out of a nigga. Every nigga is a different nigga. And I'm talking about white, tan, Latin, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself. Every nigga is fucking, this man shit. I ain't talking about no girls. I'm talking about men in the conversations that I notice that we be having. Every man ain't created fucking equal, bro. Socially, intellectually, physically, talent-wise, spiritually, everybody's different. Everybody has their own space in this world. So Dion, to me, has shown to be somewhat outstanding. Then the man is battling a disease that's having him be amputated slowly through his life. Do you know how, you got to think about this for a second. Ben Umar Johnson is running around, running his mouth about what Dion is and what Dion ain't. But Dion's resume and contributions to himself at minimum speaks volume. I'm not saying that that's better than Umar, because Umar has contributed to himself as well through the education and academia. Okay? But I don't expect Deion Sanders to be God. This nigga ain't Jesus. He's a man. He's one of many. And he's doing his thing. He contributed to Jackson State. And then he went on out in Colorado, said, hey, we're going to punch his ticket and we're going to do our thing over here. And now he's understanding his trials and tribulations and his hurdles that he must overcome within the game of football at Colorado. Ben Umar, for some reason, think that it was a play. It could have been a play. It could have been a play to what I guess he's assuming and alluding to the fact that what we tend to do as African Americans, whatever, is that we tend to sell our people out. Okay, well, what's the number though, my nigga? This shit got to be supported by data and statistics. They ain't talking about white folks. If I go to a school and my office get broke into, okay, that's a strike. But I'm gonna be patient because these are my people. Allegedly now, that's what they want you to believe. But these niggas, you gotta think about it, man. Africa got so many different spectrums of tribes and life. Them niggas will kill the fuck out of each other over there. And that's the same thing with white people in Europe. Man, people will kill each other in close proximity when you're dealing with niggas. I'm telling you, niggas, it's just in niggas' nature to cross another nigga. It don't matter what y'all say. You gotta keep niggas at a distance. So they break into the man's office. They break into his cars and they basically create a criminal element to him, although he's producing at the school, and he gives them an economic boost from the attendance and the cachet of his name. Then they underpay him. Then he donates the money back into the school. Okay, if the school can't build off that, then that school don't deserve to be no HBCU. But see, again, I keep telling y'all, that's an African-American school where niggas run rapid and they don't want to do nothing but put on clothes and bullshit at this campus all day and stomp the goddamn yard. And then they hear Deion Sanders up there, some stupid-ass nigga, say, ooh, let's go rob the nigga. See, that's what they do. That's what niggas do. Niggas act like niggas be picking on niggas, but niggas really go out their way to do stupid shit. I'll tell you this story one time before, man, and I was finna kill this little dude. I don't know if he was grown. They never told me. Anyway, this is the story. So, I used to drop, nieces, nephews, the kids, the teenagers, the next generation in my family. I drop them off at Golden Glide. Anybody that's from here, you know what the Golden Glide is. So I'm in the car, and what I do is I pull up my car, and it's no big deal. I'm standing by the car. I got my gun on me. You see what I'm saying? Because the skating ring in at 11, so I'm picking the kids up, the friends. It's about 5 of them or whatever. And I'm like, hey, I'm here in the parking lot because I get there early to make sure nothing going on because still the skating ring. You drop them off 7-11, skating ring. These middle schoolers. It was a couple of years back. So I'm in the truck so I can carry them, not a car. Let me be specific. I'm in a truck. So I park the truck. The truck is running. And I got my gun on me, and I'm just chilling, and I'm kind of like stepping out the truck, and I kind of step in front of my truck, and I'm looking over like this. It's a small little mound. It's not even a hill. It's a mound, trying to wait for the kids to come out so they can see me, and they kind of looking for me. And I'm paying attention to the crowd, and see the children and my family members to make sure that they all good. That it was a young, I don't know how he is, I ain't gonna say. That a nigga jumped in my motherfucking truck while he was running and drove the fuck off on my shit. A nigga, I saw him and I pulled my gun out, and I had I had a clear shot at his dome, and I almost started busting at my own truck. But you can't, in military, you need to have a background or backdrop. so that when you shoot, you can really do some damage. Like, for instance, if a nigga break in your house, okay, and they at the front door and they kicking on your shit, you want to come around the house and be able to shoot them niggas so you won't have no friendly fire and the bullets can penetrate them niggas and hit the wall and it be a one-shot kill. If it wasn't for him being in that moving vehicle and other kids kind of had been released and they was all, oh shit, they was cheering him, I would have shot that nigga all up in his body. But I couldn't. And when I pulled the gun out, everybody looked like, oh, because they realized it was my truck that the boy jumped in, and I pulled the gun, and I seen everybody kind of, and I said, I didn't got a fucking shot, and I had to put that shit back in my holster, and I had to go to the fucking DeKalb County, they black, and then file a police report. They ended up getting the truck back and shit, all that, but niggas do stupid shit. And no, it wasn't nobody white out there. At the Golden Glide, it was not what the officers and everybody was fucking black. All the kids was black. There was no goddamn fucking white people had nothing to do with that shit. So I know the treachery and the disloyal fuck nigga element in niggas. And ain't no nigga gonna ever tell me about nothing. Because I don't like white niggas the same way. You can't trust them niggas either. But I definitely can't trust you niggas. You ain't finna trick me into no shit that I know you niggas plotting on. They just found this nigga Tupac Shakur murderer and seems to be attached to this fuck nigga Puff Daddy like most people suspected the whole time. This man in the studio, he don't set the man up, shot the man up. Everybody think Tupac crazy. He told y'all the nigga set him up, and it was a setup. Puff and Biggie looking stupid. Maybe Biggie didn't have nothing to do with it. I don't know. Don't give a fuck. But this is nigga shit. Now they finally, after years and years of Diddy running loose in the streets as a murderer possibly, now they found the niggas who killed Tupac 30 damn years later. Niggas. Fuck what you talking about, Benny Umar. Fuck what you talking about. And I will eat your ass off the bone, nigga, about this shit right here because you don't know what the fuck you talking about. You went to all them schools. Niggas can graduate from school but still be stupid. Niggas have no understanding of the real. See, when you go, this is what I don't like about when a nigga go to school too fucking much, he end up getting himself lost in the words of academia. It started to become a job for him. A nigga start to be like, well, I can just go to college and get paid. A lot of women do that shit. A lot of women will go to school, and that's why they got this most educated shit and all that, because it's a lick. It is you could go to college, you can look good, you can spray your cologne. It ain't no laborer's work. You got to use your brain. Once you figure out all your connections, then you should be good to go from there. Right? So my point is I want to dead this political conversations and these undercut dissings about inboxing and across the board. Like, bro, it is what it is. It is what it is. So I don't understand why Ben Umar, this professional school nigga that ain't really had a job for real, but he's really been just going to school his whole life, and then he's on the internet, according to Charleston White, begging for money. See how that looks? You begging for money, and you still ain't got your school up, and you worried about Deion Sanders, man. If the athlete is an athlete, let the athlete be an athlete. The athlete shouldn't be a politician. Now, sliding on down to some more football talk in politics. Right after this, Shannon Sharp, and Chad Johnson. Chad Johnson, one of the greatest receivers out. He's known for his releases. He's known to innovate releases and his movement off the ball and on the ball at the line of scrimmage. and how he put you in a blender and twist them feet up, break them ankles at the line. Chad is a historically good receiver when it comes down to releasing, right? Everybody kind of know that his release game was crazy. Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp is awesome. Shannon Sharp, one of the greatest tight ends of all time, if not the greatest tight end of all time. We all know him. We're still in the realm of sports because Shannon Sharp, he was with Skip Bayless on Undisputed. They had some good chemistry until they just didn't. And then a dream matchup is with he and Stephen A. Smith. Mondays and Tuesdays, I don't know if that's changed or whatever, but that's a great pairing between Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp also does Club Shay Shay. All right. He got a podcast. If you fuck with sports, you fuck with sports. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't, that's a plug. If you want to look at these guys, just type in Ben Umar Johnson on Deion Sanders, Ben Umar Johnson on Chad Johnson and Shannon Sharp. And then type in Shannon Sharp, Club Shay Shay. Not with him and Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith had nothing to do with this. This is just straight Shannon Sharp, Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson. They have great chemistry. I like the show, actually. I really absolutely like the show. I like Shannon Sharp and Chad as a pairing better than I like him and Stephen A. Smith. And that's nothing to sneeze at because him and Stephen A. Smith are doing an excellent job. I definitely was hoping to see that in my lifetime. Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp, I just couldn't wait for the LeBron James and Michael Jordan debate as you see these two guys on the screen. And in the back, we got one of our covenant boxers, Lennox Lewis, Big Lennox. All right. A lot of people high on Big Lennox. So we're going to have him back there too. That's him in the background. All right. So we represent, all sports. All right. Now, so we killing these politics and these social issues, and we're going to get to PED use and the lack of self-control. All right. So Sharp, right? Sharp is pretty good, man. I ain't got nothing to say about him. I like Chad Johnson. I like Chad Johnson, and I respect Chad Johnson because he de-glamorized the expensive lifestyle and the need to be flashy. He's a Florida boy, and he speaks on being cheap and being frugal with his money and, buying inexpensive things. That's what he's also known for outside of football is that he's very, very frugal and that he's very, very good with his money. Okay. Chad Johnson is just that kind of guy. So he's been given the opportunity to work with Shannon Sharp. Now, Shannon Sharp and Chad Ocho Cinco got on a good social issue, not a political issue. Now, you guys know this is going to happen across the boards. Sports is not exempt because it's an election year. We got election next Tuesday, actually. And it's election day next Tuesday. And then we got a year before the national big one, which is the presidential race, right? So everything is going to be political in its core to a degree because people want to kind of get gauges on where they stand politically. All right. Now, Chad Johnson and Shannon Sharp, they are dark-skinned guys. Life is a spectrum. You have some real pasty white guys and some tanner white guys and some browner white guys, some lighter black guys and some darker black guys, some brown black guys, brown girl. You guys get it. It's a spectrum. You guys got eyeballs. All right. So they were describing their life, which I fuck with that. When somebody describes their testimony, man, that is what it is. You got to accept that. That is just what it is. Shannon and Chad, and this is in our community, and I'm familiar with this, and I can relate to this, and I can identify with that. Now, I'm not dark. I'm not dark. I guess could be considered a light-skinned nigga or whatever. That's what I've been told my whole life, so I guess that's what I am, right? So there's different experiences that we have socially based on our complexion. But here's the thing about it. that exists within the own community. Okay? And what they were describing were, hey man, what's your take on women as an athlete? And I like Shannon and I like Ocho because they talk about stuff that young transitioning athletes need to know about going into their profession and attaining this money. And they want you to be aware of certain tricks and certain traps. Okay? So Shannon Sharp, Chad Ochocinco was talking about their experiences with black women as dark complexion men, right? Dark complexion men. That shit don't mean nothing to me. I'm a man. I don't like niggas. Nigga, you dark, you dark. You light, you light. And white, I don't give a fuck. But this is apparently a girl thing that was going on that I've seen myself with dark-skinned guys initially as they rise through the rankings before and kind of through the pubic stage, right? Puberty stage, right? So, it started with Terrell Owens, another great on wide receivers. Terrell Owens is real open and transparent about his experience as a dark-skinned man. He make no bones about it. He doesn't appear to be racist. He just seemed to be like, man, look, life is what it is. It is what it is. I get it. It whatever. I'm just gonna do what I gotta do. God damn it. And he stated that, hey man, as a dark-skinned fellow, I had issues with my girls that was black. They used to call me ugly. They used to pick on me. They didn't really like me. And I just stopped going where I wouldn't want it. So that's how I end up getting with white women and women of different ethnicities, right? And I want to highlight that from him before I get to Ocho and Shannon. And I want to say this. This is another example of it ain't all this cloak of white niggas behind the scene tricking niggas into white girls and white girls are tricking black niggas. It's like this spooky talk. It is an element of that, but it's very, very avoidable. Listen to what I'm telling you. I'm telling you now, I ain't never dated no white girl, had no desire to date white girls. They look like workers to me. It's like me saying that an ant is sexy. I look at white women as women to be respected in a spectrum of women to be respected. I don't like old white women, young white women, hot blondes. All that shit ain't attractive to me. And it keeps me out of another pool of temptation that could go wrong. I got enough issues with black women and dating them and have been with them throughout my life to explore into whatever it could be with white women and stuff like that. See, and I think that energy with me allows me to move in different space because I genuinely don't give a fuck about a white woman at all. So your daughters and your mama is safe around zone. They not attractive. So I've always been able to move personally in spaces because white niggas have to deal with me from a real position, not from this nigga black dick is around. Man, I don't fuck your goddamn man. No disrespect, but I don't want that shit. I don't want no Smeagol, Gollum. I don't like that shit. That ain't cute to me. I don't like none of that shit. All these black girls over here, I like that shit. That's enough to deal with within itself. When I'm at work, I don't have time checking for I don't got time for that. It's just not my thing. So I've always been able to operate within certain white spaces because I am not a threat and I am a man's and we got a battle. So I'm not here. You can't use your white girl and hide behind your daughter. Cause he just come here. I don't like white girls. I don't have that. I didn't get picked on and called names as a young brother coming up. I've had quite too much success with my own women, and that shit is its own package. We can take the whole. I ain't got time to insert a white girl in there or an Asian girl. No disrespect, but I just don't like them. I just ain't had time to tend to them, and I don't give a fuck to or not to. Now that you have my other position on that. I don't mind. It don't offend me when Terrell Owens say talking sports, in politics, and social issues. Okay? It doesn't offend me when Terrell Owens says, I like white women because I had a hard time with black women growing up. They call me ugly. I can empathize with that because that's the reality. I've seen it. I've seen black dudes be called black and ugly and stuff like that by their own women. And it can happen in other communities. I'm sure, ugly boys are ugly boys. Girls are cruel more than what people think, but it's not about women. So Chad Johnson and Shannon Sharp wanted to weigh in on the issue to support Terrell Owens. Obviously so, because, we're dropping the link for this one. Let me get this out so I can let y'all cook. I want to hear all the political, social issues. You got to build momentum because it's early. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm early. It's been 50 minutes. I know y'all are listening. I know y'all cooking. Hit the thumbs up. Share the link, please. And we try to wait a little bit more for the California boys to get up, because once I drop the link, I'll let y'all rip it. And I'll recap real quick. Just talking about Ben Umar Johnson and his mouth and his conversation about Deion Sanders and what we think about that. And then we're transitioning to Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson and Shannon Sharp's response to Terrell Owens' testimony about being picked on and called black and this and that and the third and all that kind of shit. And Ben Umar keep interjecting himself in those situations. He interjected himself into the situation with Deion, and I disagree with him. And I'm finna explain my issue with what he's saying about Terrell Owens, Shannon Sharp, and Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson. So he's said, this is Terrell Owens, that he had issue. I believe that. That man sound like that is true, and I believe I've seen it with my own eyes. Shannon Sharp and Chad Ocho Cinco are also dark-skinned guys. So the only people who should be speaking on this is dark-skinned guys. I ain't talking about no brown nigga, no yellow nigga, no nigga with the curly hair. I'm not talking about Albie Shore and the DeBarge niggas. We got to sit this one the fuck out. I'm trying to listen to what these men are talking about because it's interesting to see that perspective. When I saw it with my own eyes and heard bitches say, you black and ugly, all up until a nigga damn near got to college. So, all right, so we'll leave it there, right? Drop it there. So what I'm saying to you is Terrell Owens and Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson stated that they had similar experiences and that sometimes the sisters was hard on them. Here go Ben Umar Johnson again. You guys are just using that as an excuse because you hate yourself and that you love snow bunnies. This guy got to be stopped. Ben Umar and anybody that is a race baiter and a fake conscious niggas is starting to get on my fucking nerves. It is getting to a point to where it's like, I hate to say this, but a civil war damn near is needed. Because the other civil war, it was white men fighting over the controlling the ass and throats of black niggas and how much they could beat the shit out of them and humiliate them and keep fucking them and slaving them the fuck out. So that's really what the fight was about, political power. Niggas wasn't really fighting and knowing what was going on. Niggas need to fight and get this shit straightened the fuck out. However it is, it ain't got to be through bullets, but something got to get straightened the fuck out because this is going to fuck the Pan-Africanism movement up. It's niggas being overly conscious that they're so paranoid they can't get shit done. You gotta be able to work and get shit done, my nigga. It's life. You're a man. You black. So what, nigga? You know the history. Niggas be using that shit to not get shit done. And Deion Sanders is getting shit done. Shannon Sharp, Chad, Terrell Owens, they're getting shit done and have gotten shit done. Ben Umar, you ain't got shit done yet. We know you're working on your school, and I hope you get it, but you ain't doing shit. You ain't, nigga, don't tell me about the lives you saved, niggas, because I've saved lives too. What the fuck are you talking about? Indirectly and personally directly. So don't get on here. I don't want to hear shit about Umar counseling's ability. Nigga, everybody needs counsel. Everybody needs counsel. You ain't doing nothing that's different from nobody. You still haven't erected the school. So my bottom line and my main point is, with the politics and the social issues that are being thrown on the athletes, is completely ridiculous, especially within the African American community, paired with the conscious community. It's too much responsibility dumped on the laps of these world-class athletes who are athletes. I expect that from the politicians, not the rappers and entertainers. Yes, if they have a dual skill set like a Muhammad Ali to be able to advocate for things and make things make sense politically and culturally, yes, that's a blessing. But some people don't do that. Mike Tyson couldn't do that. That nigga had his own issues going on. Holyfield couldn't do that. He had his own issues going on. Lennox Lewis don't do that. And these are all-time greats. It's rare already that a regular nigga is going to speak up and put action behind it. It's cool to talk that conscious shit behind the fence from your mama yard. See, it's different. So Ben Umar has to be, he can say what he want to say, but his sports principles and philosophies are way off. And a lot of you guys on YouTube take the conscious approach, and instead of going into a conscious realm and doing that, you're not having success over there. You're bringing it over into football, basketball, and all that kind of shit. That's ridiculous. Because you're not having, because this is the key. You know, like I know, that within the Pan-African American community, because I'm black, all that other shit, I don't know nothing about all that pan. That's some other shit. You guys know that it's not working out for you, and that you're over there by yourself, and that nothing's popping because niggas just like to sit around and talk shit. Meanwhile, you trying to handle business, a nigga looking at the fat booty ass receptionist at the location. We here to talk about how we gonna improve the community, and niggas at this shit dressed up trying to talk conscious, but they looking for pussy that's natural. They looking for the bitch that like the candles, that love raw sex, and her pussy wet as all outdoors. That's what the fuck the conscious community is about. These niggas ain't looking for nothing in the community. They looking for money and pussy. That's why every time we want to talk about something, it's two things: pussy and money. He's always talking about interracial relationships and what it do to Pan-Africanness and what the money is not doing or doing for Pan-Africanists. But you talk to all them people in Africa and you ain't got no school yet though, my boy. That's all the conscious community do. Is, if you notice, the niggas on here on YouTube, they always talking gay. They always talking gay. They always saying that somebody want their dick, somebody want them. I'm starting to think you niggas are gay. That's all you niggas talk about. That's why I keep telling y'all, nigga, that shit everywhere. And if you're looking for that, you gonna find that. So all this is the location, that location is where all this, no, it's where you at, nigga. It's where you at in your fucking mind. The conscious community, I respect what they're trying to do, but they're overstepping boundaries at this point. Sleep well on what I tell you earlier. Sleep well on your mattress. Money, adventure, travel, training, recreation, education, success, and security. That's a mattress for you. That's what you need. Travel, training, adventure, recreation, education, success, security, money, adventure. And these athletes are doing what they have to do based on what their talents are. Most of them have to go to school to a degree. It's a lot of athletes that's in the NFL that have attended college and went through the collegiate process. It definitely had to at least graduate from high school. So when it comes down to the conscious community, Dr. Ben Umar, I think you can say whatever you want to say about sports and all that shit, but there's a divide and there needs to be a separation. Deion Sanders is doing good in my book. I think Terrell Owens and Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco Johnson touched on a subject that is uniquely representative of dark-skinned men and what his testimony has been. So for somebody else to jump in and say, like Ben Umar, to say, fuck what y'all talking about, fuck your experiences, my nigga, you acting like a bitch kind of over some pain or some hurt that these men, because you got to think about this, man. It's one thing for a man to argue with you and talk shit about you and we have a good go at it and we slap each other, fight each other, because you could just rectify a nigga by basically beating his ass and being stronger. But when women that you look up to tell you ugly and that you ain't this and that and the third, man, that shit do something to you that's quite different. That's why when niggas get into it with these bitches and these girls start doing them low blows, that's why you find out you hear about a murder case afterwards. Because women tongues are very sharp. And imagine, now that's with a man. Imagine you having a 12-year-old, 13-year-old boy, 10-year-old boy, man. This is your son, and because he's dark-skinned, he's getting ripped to pieces by the young ladies in the community that look like him. That shit fucked up, man. That shit can weigh on your psyche. I remember one time, and I'm finna open it up here in a second, real quick. I'm gonna tell you this, and we can talk about the PED use collectively. And we gonna definitely talk about Tyson Fury. Don't get it twisted. And we gotta talk about Boo Boo and some boxing, right? And Earl Spence being out of shape. That's the lack of self-control. Lack of PED uses for LeBron James. I haven't got there yet. What you guys think? Lack of self-control is gonna be really directed toward Earl Spence, maybe Tyson Fury as well because of that performance, and all athletes that have lack of self-control. And PED use, I'm going to talk about that with LeBron James. So this is all sports across the board, and we're going to talk about that. But these social issues and politics, I've been wanting to get this off my chest for the last few weeks, and that's why we got an hour of me talking because, again, I just been sitting back watching, listening to this idiot, Dr. Ben Umar Johnson, and I hate to say it, but the shit he's saying is idiotic. I cannot imagine a young boy, because I listen, I don't like niggas. You can't trust niggas because once they get to a certain point, they gonna do what they do. But young children, man, 8, 9, and 6 and shit, bro. Man, that shit ain't the same, bro. You can't, man, them kids going to school, you be telling them they dumb and they ugly. Look, let me say this. Let me tell you something one time. Man, I was out here doing that horse playing shit. I think I was 12 years old. And I was out here bullshitting. All my fault. And this what stopped me. I swear, this stopped me from horse playing like a motherfucker. Because I was a big horse player and shit. Just like most kids is, high school, not high school, right? No, middle school is what I'm saying. 6th, 7th grade, right there. And I had started that shit kind of like, I'm going to say, horse playing really about 9. You know what I'm saying? Back then, we used to go outside. So horse playing, games and shit like that, bullshit. So some of the games we used to play, and I'm going to describe them to you. They're kind of fun. We used to do pencil pop. I don't know if y'all remember pencil pop. We used to do pencil pop. We used to do, now I'm not talking about football, basketball, the normal shit when we go outside. Kickball, 4 square. I'm not talking about that. We used to do open chess. Open chess means that, if we catch you with if you got to be in the game. If you get caught with your hand off your chest, then, we get to bust you in your chest. You know what I'm saying? You got to put your hand back over your chest, kind of like a seatbelt. And we used to do this in school and be stupid in school and play and fuck with each other in school. We also used to play this game called buttermilk. So if you say, my favorite color is blue, and you don't say buttermilk behind it, we get to strike you until you say buttermilk for that word. So we used to be lurking, playing all around. This is a tradition that used to happen down here in the South, whatever. I don't know. Maybe Atlanta public schools. I don't know. So Fourth, fifth grade, never had any situations arise from it. We used to play it in the summer. Sixth grade, and I'm making this transition to, obviously change classes. I need to get more academically involved because we're in middle school. I have a desire to play football, and I need to get the physical. So my grandma is telling me, hey, boy, you shouldn't be playing football. You need to get She's telling me. And then, I'm like, okay. So, so I started a buttermilk ring in sixth grade. Ring of the whole goddamn sixth grade playing this shit. All the boys, probably 90% of the boys is playing this shit. We ain't playing open chess because it was just too obvious. So we had to do it more discreetly. So we started doing the shit. We bust one boy up. He goes home. Parent called the school. They say we got a buttermilk ring. I'm in the forefront of the shit along with about 10 other motherfuckers this cool and playing all the goddamn time. They couldn't do nothing to us really because they couldn't really get the story because it was so many people. It was so many people involved. They didn't know who really could have been the fall guy because it was some motherfuckers trying to be cool. They started their own buttermilk rings. You see what I'm saying? Just to be cool, just to sound cool. So it did originate from us, but so many people hijacked the shit. It ended up becoming buttermilk ring, but it was buttermilk sets. So it was like, nah, man, I ain't playing buttermilk with you, nigga. I'm playing, but yeah, we used to play nigga knock or knock zoom too. Ding dong ditch, yeah, that's all three of the ones that nigga knocking, ding dong ditch, and knock zoom. That's what we used to call them. So anyway, I think on the west side they used to say nigga knock, and then over here on the east side we used to call it knock zoom. So it just depends. And then ding dong ditch was on the more south side. It's funny how that works, but anyway, so. We got into a ring, so they couldn't pinpoint it because, like I said, the buttermilk rings broke up into sets. So it was niggas who was like, hey, no, don't you touch me, nigga. Cut that. So now we finna get into this gang hostile shit. We finna get ready to fight. Nigga, you touch me, nigga. I just say blue all day, but you better not touch me because I ain't playing with you. I'm gonna knock your ass out. So this shit getting out of hand now, right? Cause niggas like, I'm gonna say blue, nigga, and I dare you to touch me. Niggas was using it as an excuse to fight. So the boy, mama, not that particular boy, but one boy, tough guy, his mom noticed bruises, I don't know where the fuck, called the school, had a ring, they couldn't pinpoint it, and niggas, nobody got in trouble. But the fact that I was involved in it, my grandma was so goddamn pissed because she had just like got my physical to play football, and we was finna get ready to go into spring training, sixth grade year, because when you want to play football in seventh and eighth grade, because we had a seventh and eighth grade team. Now I know they merged them, but you gotta go to spring training starting in you gotta have your physical by February. You start spring training in March, and spring break April, May, June, all the way down to the jamboree games, and then you're on the football team if you're good. My grandma was so fucking pissed and disgusted that we were going around there spending all day punching on each other and shit. So my grandma, she ripped the fuck up out of me playing with niggas all day. Like she was saying it that she's your grandma, so your grandma gonna be real sharp and precise with it. She not gonna get cuss your eye like your mama or your daddy will. She's just gonna be like, look at what you was doing. And that shit really turns something in you when you're a boy and a woman. Now I ain't talking about a soft ass woman that you could manipulate and go get snacks and cry and throw a fit. I'm talking about a woman that'll put a switch to your ass now. Talking about a woman who will put a belt to your ass, and if you get out of control, they're gonna call all the men over, and then they're gonna make sure you get your ass whooped that way. So this is a woman to be respected. This ain't the grandma that's shaking her ass on Instagram. This shit that y'all got going on with these grandma, this ain't the grandma that's trying to get out in the club. This is the classic grandma that's whipping that cornbread, putting that dinner down, making sure you got your ears and shit clean, and make sure you wash your ass. And if you're doing that bullshit at school, she finna get with your ass. That's the kind of grandma I had. I ain't had one shaking ass and busting it open on Instagram talking about she 40 and that's the new 20. That shit I don't know nothing about. But this grandma that I had, that shit was so devastating. So my point of saying all that is that it changed me to say, you got to make a conscious effort to stop playing with niggas. You do. And no, this is the thing about it. This ain't no Big Mom. The Big Mom was I had one of those too. That was my great. This my grandma. My grandma was this was a woman. Like she wore high heels and suits and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? That ain't that kind of mama. She like Muhammad Ali. She the one who like boxing. This is a sharp grandma that, you know, when I'm with her, they thought I was her son. You understand what I'm saying? They thought her, my mama, and my aunties and my uncles was a pack of sisters and brothers. But the truth is that wasn't her. She was fresh with the shades, the 1980, early 90s shades. Man, she was just fresh. You know what I'm saying? That kind of grandma. She worked for EDS down here in Georgia. So she was in like corporate type spaces. Anyway, that kind of grandma. So she knew what it was like to be a working motherfucker, a solid, and then because all her kids grown, because my mom and all them, they been out the house, my uncle and them out the house, so my grandma just free to do what she want to do. You know what I'm saying? And she was participating in my development process. So anyway, so she sharply told my ass down and made me realize that, man, you can't be playing with niggas. You can't. What the fuck is you doing? The fuck is you doing? Let me stop saying, because she was saying, like, she was asking me that, but it came in my head like, yeah, you're right, man. What the fuck are you doing? She said, don't answer, cut the TV off, wrap that game up, and I want you to write me a 2-page report on what it is that you want to be as a man. Don't tell me you want to play football. Don't tell me you want to be a teacher. Don't tell me you want to be a police officer. Don't tell me about none of that. I don't want to hear none of that. I want you to tell me what kind of man you want to be when you grow up. And do you see yourself, when you write this paper, do you want to be one of these? Now, she did say this. She said, do you want to be one of these niggas in Atlanta that's hanging out here selling dope, playing with each other all day, playing with each other in the bandos, getting shot up and stuff? Because my uncle, one of them, this is not my uncle-in-law, I guess, because I always say something about uncles. We got a lot of dudes or whatever. So one of them had already been shot. This is my auntie's husband, okay? My mama's older sister. He already had been innocently shot hanging out in Pool Creek. These projects don't exist. They don't took him down now for the 96 Olympics. But if you know from Atlanta, you know what I'm talking about. Pool Creek, my uncle got shot because niggas had did a drive-by and they hit the wrong house. And they ended up hitting him in the neck and he was paralyzed. I can't remember if it was the neck down. I think it was neck down. And he ended up dying of a blood clot, man, in the hospital. So that's already don't happen, right? That's already don't happen. That happened in 93, 94, but we're in 96 now. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm 12, I'm 11, turning 12 and shit. You know, regular shit. Y'all get it. So she told me, she said, actually, I'm 11 turning 12 because I'm in the 6th grade. So this already don't happen, though. Uncle James got shot. She said, she obviously didn't want to take me into the house, and my auntie was in the house, so she set me in the car. She was saying, she said, Kendall, write me that paper, and I want you to keep in mind what happened to your Uncle James. Standing around just drinking a beer, hanging with niggas. And I know she didn't want to tell me in the house because I know she didn't want to, but she told me that to make me fucking think. And then I ended up writing the paper, man, and I started realizing that, nah, man, you can't fuck with niggas. And to loop it all the way back around, me and a whole bunch of niggas supposed to been doing buttermilk. Everybody keeping it solid. It only took a few niggas to start snitching and start singing like bitches, and all of us was in the office. Because I wasn't even initially implicated in it. Although I had started, the niggas who got caught was the niggas who, but I think, matter of fact, I remember boy name, his name Clinton. Clinton, the one who got punched on, bruised up, went home, came back. Hit that set over there was in trouble, but that set tried to bring me and my crew into it because we started it and suggested it. That's why, and then I thought about all that when I wrote the paper, and that's when I realized I don't give a fuck what a nigga say about nothing because you ain't loyal to shit. You niggas is going to self-satisfy yourself for content, for anything, for pussy, for money, to get out of trouble. You don't give a fuck. You niggas will self-satisfy at anybody else's expense. And that's what I learned. And that's why I don't listen to Ben Umar, except when I feel like it. And all his thought process about Chad Johnson, T.O., is disingenuous. Because I can understand what it's like to have a woman look like you and she check your ass. It puts things in perspective. So them girls calling them that, I can understand why a man would go to date outside of his race, man. What the fuck he supposed to do? Sit there and get nothing? Just sit there and get nothing. Just be black and ugly to all the girls that look like him and sit in the house all day. When there's a attractive white young woman or attractive Latino woman that's showing interest. He's supposed to sit there and be black and ugly while you hoes go fuck all the dope boys and go suck all the dick you want and get the fuck off and still call this man ugly. And when he go get a white girl or somebody that's non-black, it's an issue. Come on, man. This shit crazy. Go ahead, Jedi. What's up, boy?
Yo, what's going on, my brother? How you feeling?
Oh, yeah, I know this your kind of conversation right here. Let's get it.
Yeah, no doubt, my brother, man. Yo, good to see you, Zone. No doubt, man. I'm glad you're bringing this out in the open. You know what I'm saying? Good for the fellas to talk, because I'm more than sure that most of the fellas that bang with us or whatever, their fathers, uncles, as well as possibly grandfathers. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, we could say that it's our fault, you know what I mean? But yet it's not, because some of us, me, you, and the other responsible motherfuckers who got children out there that still have that moral code in them, you know what I mean? They were responsible enough and took accountability for this shit. So what they do, they cleaned up, their loved one's act or whatever, as well as themselves first, in order to pass those jewels down. Now, I'm gonna let all y'all know, man, that don't know. All right, this is gonna be the simplest shit I can say. Gangbangers, all right, thugs, drug dealers. First of all, crime don't pay. You know why? Because each and every one of those motherfuckers on that statistic right there can't afford real attorneys. That's exactly why crime don't pay. Let's move on to the next one. The system does exist, right? But it is up to you, all right, who chooses to participate in it. No doubt. Here it goes. They provide you with drugs, money, and guns. No doubt. And that's all aimed towards you. Now, drugs, you can sell them or you can use them. You have two choices here in life, kid. Money, you can save it or you can spend it. You got a gun, right? You can get a gun or not get a fucking gun. Either way, it's still up to you, because you're left with what? Life decisions. So now your life decisions depend, you got your peers and you got your relationships. You also got two choices there. Remember, everything is all around you and your choices. There's only two, yes and no. So now with your peers, you got gang members and criminals. Now, 20% of those people will only make the statistic as to where you or anyone else that's successful has made it. Understand that your peers will only become, depending on your surroundings, gang members, or all surroundings, criminals, because criminals are everywhere. Then you got your relationships. They can either work or fail. It is up to you. And if the other person fucked up, it is you who did not fail. It is the other person. Now, if you fucked up, you failed. So you got your two choices. And lastly, the most important thing in your life, which consists of, and it brings you discipline and self-confidence, and that is your work. That is your job. Make sure that is your number one net. So what are the two good things that are good for you in life, bro? The best two things is your work, because it produces money. Henceforth, if you keep your conscience clear, you can afford everything, including time. That's all you know what I'm saying? That's all I want to say. That Ben Umar does not know anything of these teachings. Any of these teachings that Zone 6 know, that I know, that we have been successful and enough to see the bullshit before it's even made. Gentlemen like y'all that are in the chat section right now, y'all got to understand, if you are successful, if you are a man who is completing your life, that you built your family, you're paying your bills, and you're comfortable where the fuck you at, you are richer in life right now than any other billionaire or any other motherfucker out there. You know why? Because they have more problems than you. That's right. And if you got a clear conscience, and if you are a man that walks with the most grace, where you can actually say, I've been there, done that, I'm good now, and you're passing on jewels, and you're raising something that's a better, and I repeat, because that's what our children are, a better example of yourself, man, you, and I repeat, you cannot be told shit in life except for God. God is the only one, if you believe, that can tell you what to do. All these women around here, we all know, this society has raised nothing but women that are going to sit you back and try to put you down or try to uplift you because of their own what? Their own income, their own convenience, whatever they can gain from you, their own profit. A lot of these women out here are harlots, and it's very hard for a not so good looking brother, whether he's black, white. Let's just put it this way: whether he's in the minority bracket. Whether he's in the minority bracket, which these are the same women that come from the same minority bracket that are gonna fucking tell the same men that they grew up with that they're not worth their attention. Okay, I can understand high standards, but at the same time, what have you done in order to offer the man the high standard when you capture him in your net of deceit? Absolutely nothing. You just become a mother, barefoot, pregnant, having more, and then you want to, when this man sees you ain't shit, right? When it's the moment of truth, when this man hits his rock bottom, y'all don't even have the jewels to even know, all the knowledge to know how to be the backbone of your man. You see? So this is the problem with society and you women out there, and you know, and especially simps like Umar that's out there, and racketeer artists. And mind you, all opinions and everything said is by Jay Cotto, not Zone 6. So you know what I'm saying? I'm just letting you know this guy's a fucking fraud. Millions and millions of dollars for what? We still haven't seen it. We still haven't seen it. And what education are you gonna teach us? Fabricated, watered down lies? Because that's exactly what this man tells. Lies. He placates, he race baits. We have your Colin Kaepernicks, you have your Umars, you have your young Pharaohs, you have all of those punks out there that set narratives for what? For monetary gain, so they can what? So they can fucking prostitute their so-called sisters, and which are the harlots that they love to simp for. Love to fucking put on this pedestal and say this is what a movie is supposed to look like. But God forbid a woman who's knowledgeable, like our grandmamas, like our mamas, women that are out there that actually have a mind like them. God forbid they speak up to young punks like that, or should I say older punks like that that's supposed to be teaching jewels instead of tarnishing them. So this is what I'm saying. Like Zone 6 is right when he brings this to the light. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that we're actually speaking on this because it's all about your choices. Remember what I told you. The system does exist, but it is you who chooses to participate in it. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you this while we're here.
Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts? Because I've been wanting to have a conversation with you about conscience for a long time. We just never have a time, and it look like we got it now.
Yes, sir.
What is your thoughts on, you familiar with Deion Sanders and what he's done from Jackson State to Colorado? You familiar with that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Carter, what's your thoughts on that, man? And I like when you interject your stance on politics. Look, man, cook. You ain't got it. Look, because I want to know if we agree on this. You heard what I said earlier. I want you to let it rip, right? If about Ben Umar's position on Deion, if you agree with Ben Umar, you agree. But if you disagree, I just want to hear the position on it and what you think about that man's contributions to college football.
I see it like this: for a man to be a professional, right, to go back and then to actually share those jewels, like I was saying before, that's a responsible man. That is a man who is passing down legacy, not only legacy of the sport, legacy of a man in the sport, legacy of a black man in the sport, legacy of making your choices and keeping your head clear, like I was speaking of. You can only have two choices, yes or no. And you know what I'm saying? Mr. Owens is just, is just being hated by a man who has tried to set the example, but yet at the same time try to set us back with everything that he's saying because he wants to bring it back because that's what he profits for. As to Mr. Owens, is basically not profiting; he's being a prophet. You know what I'm saying? These young kids will profit off of his knowledge and off of his wisdom and pushing them forward and what's needed in the game of life, because he's teaching them. Just like he taught himself to become successful, that football is your life now. Football is your life. If we had that in boxing, if we had that in other sports, there would be more successful young black men or minority men that are out there setting examples instead of going out there racketeering and lying and trying to shame the so-called black men that you're supposed to be defending, your own brother, who's on a higher pedestal than you that you're supposed to be using, for example, in your so-called speeches to push your people forward. Here's a prime example of a Don King, a prime example of a man who says, I love my brothers, I love my sisters, but you won't defend the sisters that are going to be knowledgeable and profitable to your kind. You won't defend the brothers that are going to be knowledgeable and profitable to your kind, that are going to be able to push you forward instead of set you back. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with Mr. Owens. I do not agree with Umar. Umar has not produced. If anything, Umar is just spreading poison. Umar is just doing things where it's like, you know, a lot of these young men out here think that staying on code. If you stay on code, well, you keep following the bunch and not learn how to be a leader, and you're going to see yourself behind these iron bars with a whole bunch of motherfucking rapists and a whole bunch of, you know what I mean? Messing your future up to where you're going to wind up in a statistic, making excuses when you can't come out here and get a career because you want to follow code. So don't follow code. Be a leader. Be a Owens. You know what I'm saying?
So what you think? Okay, so Beanie Umar, I know you follow him. I know you kind of in the loop on the country community as well, like I am. We just don't have, you know, the space to talk to him because we always talking boxing. So what do you think? What do you think about his agenda? I know he's a clinical psychologist, which that's to be respected. And I'm sure he's helped and changed lives through conversations and practice. And I know he loves to go back and forth between Africa and trying to unite all black people, as he say, under a Pan-Africanist umbrella. What do you think about that task or that idea? What's your opinions on that?
Well, he you know, first of all, I would like him to actually sit across an African politician, right? Any politician or any member from Africa that's up there, where so that way that African can tell him, first of all, you are not an African American, right? This is why he wants to do this Pan-African stuff. This is true. This is in history. You know what I'm saying? You have your Black Americans who were born in the Americas. Then you have your African Americans who were born in Africa. Now you may have an African American that comes from Africa, or his parents were from Africa and migrated here and had him here. So henceforth, he's born in America. He's an African, so he's an African American. Yes, there have been traits like that. Yes, but those are the Africans that come from. You understand what I'm saying? Now you have your Black Americans, you know, that are like us, that were born in.
Yeah, gotcha. They actually are from Africa, so
right.
African American, just like somebody who come from Germany. I don't consider them white; they're German American.
Right.
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So henceforth they're stamped. So now what Umar's trying to do is Umar's trying to say, no. We are, you know, African Americans. We are. Meanwhile, you got you have the Africans, the African community saying no. Like we are not you. It's just like the Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. It's just like, you have the same class, Black, yes, Hispanic, yes, but there are different groups, different cultures, right, within that. So it's like Umar, what he's trying to do is he's trying to push self-ideology. You know what I'm saying? He's taking the race, weaponizing it. He's taking everything and he's just weaponizing it, even his profession, because to be a psychologist you have to know that you can manipulate, that you are going into the mind and the psyche of people. You have a power to actually move thoughts and build thoughts the way you want them to move. This is why psychiatry and all that it's very dangerous, and you have to be a very very professional person to do something like that, to go behind codes and ethics in order not to break the code.
Because you OG, so let's not forget that. Speak to that a little bit, because I'm learning something. You on fire right now. Speak to that a little bit more about being because young people might be listening to this, and I'm younger than you, and I can use this going into my older age as well too, man. This is good stuff. What should you be? How responsible should a psychologist or therapist be, in your opinion? Keep cooking, but just put that in there too. How responsible should they be? Because I know this is why I'm asking you. Yeah. Because you know karate. You know the elements of mixed martial arts, and you know the psychology as well, as we saw from your debate. Congratulations to Jedi the champion. If you haven't checked it out, check him out on the debate. Him and Tony View is a good one. He really he broke it down. With your karate understanding, tell us how the mind should be unfolding and it be responsible, because he seems to be poisoning people. But what should be a responsible dialogue for somebody in that position?
I think someone in that position, a responsible dialogue would be to not sit down with the common man, right? Because the common man is basically mostly confused because of the hardships that they go through, so they don't really have time to filter out their mind. You know what I'm saying? As to, if he was to sit down with us, of course we can have a debate with him, but and then when he would hit to a higher level as to politics and stuff that we really don't know behind the scenes and stuff, we couldn't speak on that. So automatically he wins. But a good responsible debate for him would be, like I said, if he was to sit down and confront an African politician or someone that is actually qualified in history as well, that can actually sit down and tell him, look, this is what you're doing. This is, I think that someone that is qualified as well in the field. Now, a responsible psychologist to me would have the integrity, would know. I know how to get into people's mind. So I cannot just go out there and put my ideologies out there, which is what you see now with a lot of doctors that consist of mental health, health physicians and stuff. They're basically manipulating a lot of facts to put them out there, so that way it can be ran by in their agendas, or whatever agendas they've been told to do. So it's like he has an agenda. I don't think any psychiatrist, any doctor should have any agenda except for one, and that is to make or help the patient get better. The methods that come behind that would have to be sit down. This is why there's such thing as boards and stuff. A lot of these doctors have to go through a lot of psychiatric evaluations as well to gain their practice license and stuff. So I think that for Umar, the way he's doing it, it's sort of weaponizing his agenda to the point that he wants America to say, look, the black man is first. And we understand that, right? We understand that. But now, if we take a good look at the picture zone, all my brothers out there and sisters, we take a good look, right? And if we go back, this is why I say Donald Trump is a staple of what's going on now. You take a look at the pictures of Donald Trump with Rosa Parks, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton. Those were strong leaders, especially Jesse Jackson, who first who coined the word, because he gets paid off of this, African American, right? He put that ideology here. So you have him. Then you have Reverend Al Sharpton, who was known as a snitch for the FBI, who has known to turn his own people against him, locked his own people up, right? But here's Trump up there. But now all of a sudden, because Trump was the leader, was helping everyone out, he's racist. You see how that turns out to be there, right? So now when you look at that, and when all these doctors and sports, all these sports players and athletes and stuff like that, when they weaponize the racism, right? When you look at that picture, we were already moving forward. It is ideologies and agendas that set us back. You know what I mean? It set us back. Here's another example. You got Colin Kaepernick talking about, oh yeah, football is for the slaves. They treat us like slaves, right? But now all of a sudden, have you heard? I think it was about 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks and a half. He wants back in the NFL.
Right? Yes. And he's been trying to get workouts, and he's been pursuing it. I got you.
You see that? So it's like it's all about weaponizing ideology. And when you weaponize ideology, that can consist of any credential that person has that's ready to weaponize anything. You know what I'm saying? I could be a cop. I have an ideology. All money coming to me. And that's why we have crooked cops with greed. So what happens out there? He presses his ideologies, his practices, knowing that he's supposed to uphold the law. He knows that badge has a lot of power, comes with a gun. What happens with that gun and badge now? That gun and badge now becomes gospel. What I say goes. You dare tell on me, I'm going to use this. And that's where we get corruption. That's where we get bribes. That's where we get. So it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Even a psychiatrist. You go to a doctor, I need a fucking weed license, man. Yeah, sure. Just give me $350. Here you go. Here he goes weaponizing his medical licenses and forges a fake prescription. So now, from now on, you got a medical marijuana license. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. It all goes on. It goes on and on and on and on. And that's in every field. Every field. Even a car dealer. A car dealer will go and forge his name to give a gift to his nephew, knowing that he has to pay taxes and stuff on that car, and that money got to come from somewhere. But since he owns the dealership, he can pay that shit off, which is very illegal. You see what I'm saying? It goes on and on. That's in every field. Those are just ideologies that are weaponized. So for Dr. Umar, he needs to have a sit down with the qualified people to have the debate in order to prove to people, look, what I'm bringing to here is exactly what's going on. What he's showing us, me and you, because we disagree with his whole ideology, with his whole, it's a weaponization of him just saying, yo, everybody that's black, no matter if you're fucked up, without moral code, you can still move ahead, and you can't. You can't. You can't. You can't. You can't. You can't put someone who has no knowledge of how to work a crane in front of a crane and put them in there and tell them, look, we're gonna give you $25 an hour, lift that up, and he don't even know how to use the control. First of all, that'll cost you even more, which is a dumb move. So you're spending more than you're gaining, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like that's exactly what's going on in society now. It's like, hurry up and do it. Like, you can't. You gotta like people don't understand. We're running out of time, but time is still in your hands. Like I said, there's only two choices, bro. Do or don't. Do or don't. Yes, there's a system. They provide you with all this shit. But now ask yourself, if there was such thing as a black man or anyone in minority being held back, then why are there such people with our skin tone, colors, nationality, creed, should I say, or any in office in higher positions, even higher positions in construction, even higher positions? How is that, right? So it's how you apply yourself as well. Yes, there is opposition, but at the same time as opposition, isn't there defense? Isn't there strategies that one can build to go around that, to know how to move forward? That is the responsibility of the jewels that were being dropped, you know what I'm saying, the generation before us. See, so a lot of these kids don't sit down like we have and become men like we have and have moral and you know what I'm saying, and have our own discipline to get up and keep doing what we got to do.
Okay, that makes sense. And then, okay, so listen, keep cooking, Kato, because I'm gonna come back to you because I got some more questions. Because y'all heard me speak. I like to get everybody else's opinion on this stuff too. Now, introducing my player partner. Oh, this is a good panel too, man. We got an OG Jedi and we got Phil Walker. Just so y'all know, Phil Walker gonna be going live. I'll let him plug himself and then I ask him the same question. Phil, when you cook, you got the floor. The politic issues, man. Me and you touched on this behind the scenes, and me and you may both be in agreement that we sick of Dr. Ben Umar Johnson and his bullshit. If you could speak to Dion in general and or Dr. Ben Umar's position or haters' position on Dion, and maybe even the Chad Ochocinco thing about dark-skinned guys, and then them giving their testimony, and he jumps in and say they just hate themselves and like white women. So go ahead, Big Phil. You got the flow.
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I've never been a Dr. Umar fan. Um, and this is the deal, right? I think Dr. Umar says a lot of good things, but um, to me, it's just words because you know it's been a lot of public speakers over the course of history, especially when it comes to representation of what they think the black population need in America. It's all been just words, right? So for me, he just falls underneath that same fold. You understand what I'm saying? It's not Umar's not out here really sacrificing himself in order to move the black agenda ahead. You understand what I'm saying? But you do have brothers throughout the course of history that did put themselves on the front lines, that did make those sacrifices. He's not one of those guys, right? He would love to be one of those guys, and he speaks like some of those guys. But at the end of the day, you know, you're just a faker. You understand what I'm saying? And in order to recognize the fake, you got to know what the real look like.
Yes,
And
sir.
I know what the real looks like, and that's not him.
Yes, sir.
So I'm a
Yes, sir. I
so
agree. I agree, sir. I agree. Definitely.
I'm gonna start off by saying that, um, you know, but nevertheless, like I said, he does speak well and he does say things that sound good. It's just, but like I said, that's just words. So I don't want to take anything away from him. He obviously is an intelligent brother. Um, I just would prefer to use my energy somewhere else with brothers that are out here that I know personally that are doing things actively to move the black agenda ahead, and give them my support, whether it be knowledge or whether it be financial means, right? So that's just my opinion on Dr. Umar. And you can't be the brother that's um, wants to move the black agenda forward, but every time we turn on the television, you're critiquing your own people, not in a way that is trying to liberate them or guide them, but in a way to down them. You understand? So again, sometimes when you get a brother that is really, shitting on his own message, it can be somewhat confusing, right? Because I'm an avid supporter for my man Prime, Coach Deion Sanders, and for whatever reason, Mr. Umar has the biggest problem with Prime, who to me is a good representation of black people, right? Um, his decision and what he does with his life and how he tries to advance his life as well as his kids' life is something that is really none of our fucking business, man. He's a good father. That's one. Okay. Excuse me. He's a man of God. That's one. Number two, he's a good father, right? And he helps these young men and women, because he does have a daughter, realize that whatever you do in life is going to be consequence to it. That's life in general, right? It don't get no more clear cut than that. And he's straightforward and he's direct with it, right? So when you talk about Prime, just what he's done as a athlete, that's wonderful. But what he's done as a father, to me, is more impressive. You understand what I'm saying? Because, like I said, he holds his kids accountable. He does not compare his kids to himself. They all hold their own weight individually, and that's how he grades them at the end of the day. You understand what I'm saying? And obviously, several hundreds of parents have also trusted him with their kids in Colorado as well as whenever at Jackson State. And he's the kind of person that I personally, if I had children, I would trust Prime with my kids. So, anytime you're a man and someone says, hey, look, I want you to watch after my children for 4 or 5 years, you got to be doing something right, right? You got to be, at least at the very minimum, you got to be doing something right at least 50% of the time. So look, man, at the end of the day, Prime is a good representation of black men, black fathers across the whole United States of America. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't know what issue Umar has with him outside of he felt like Prime should have stayed at Jackson. So does a lot of people, man. But at the end of the day, let's look at the work, man. Nobody's life is determined based off one instant, right? One decision, right? It's a whole person concept, right? Now you can say when people make bad or good decisions, it could be a highlight or a down part time in their life, but at the end of the day, it's a whole person concept. No one situation determines the outcome of somebody's entire life. And I think when you go into crevices like Mr. Umar and describing Prime, I think he's taking a personal attack for his own personal opinions when you really just need to look at the brother's work. And I'm gonna leave it at that right there. What was your other question, Zone?
So it is about the Terrell Owens and Chad Johnson and Shannon Sharp conversation. Terrell Owens went onto a radio station.
Oh yeah. They talked about the
dark experience.
How they got curved. Yeah.
And then that's how they end up exploring women outside of their race. And this is kind of also red pill talk. I know Jay Carter, you in the loop, so I know we do boxing a lot, and I know Phil, you in the loop because you're just a nigga that be in the loop. So So what's your thoughts on because he jumped in and said, no, that ain't really nothing. They just they hate themselves and they just want to justify liking white women. And
I don't look, man. I'm gonna take. I don't know how you hating your like. I could love myself all day long, but that don't mean the person across the way is gonna want to deal with me, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I can love my. And look, this is the deal right here, right? If okay, first, let me say this right here, right? Who a person decides to talk to a date, that's their own fucking prerogative. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the truth of the matter is, I don't. Let me say this: I don't look at race like most people do. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm under the assumption that everyone needs everybody, right? I don't want to build a fucking box and just trap one ethnicity inside and we all do what we do and we block out all outside things. To me, I think that's unrealistic and I live in the real world concept, right? Do I think it could be branches of that within a real world concept? Absolutely. You understand what I'm saying? Do I think the support can be there for one ethnic group? Absolutely. Right? We see Jews do it all the time, right? But what they do, they still work with everybody. You know what I'm saying? They still talk to everybody. They still deal with everybody, right? So yeah, can there be branches of that within one culture or one ethnic group? Yeah, absolutely. But for me, I'm fine with everybody. You understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, don't mean that I've forgotten the history, right? Don't mean that I'm ignorant to the history. Don't mean that, I'm not going to be on my P's and Q's because guess what? I'm going to be on my P's and Q's with whoever it is. See, that's the thing. This is what people don't understand. White man will fuck you over. Your own black brother fuck you over. Hispanic will fuck you over. You see where I'm going with this? Whenever it comes down to certain aspects in life, people will fuck you over. It doesn't matter what color they are, right? So my deal is this right here. I wake up each day and I just try to be my best self and treat people how I want to be treated and respect others. And they should, in return, they respect me, right? So with that being said, I grew up in a family, my father served in the military, did 30 years, right? And the truth of the matter is, whenever you grow up with that kind of mindset and that's instilled in your children, you don't look at race like everybody else because these guys, these in the military, at least most of them, are fighting for a country that includes everyone. Not obviously your family falls underneath that fold, but you're out there and you're fighting for the whole entire America. So when we talk about race, I don't see it like everybody else see it. I know as a society, we all need to get along and I don't want to block myself in. That's just not me. That's not my personality. But when it comes down to the situation with Shannon and Ocho and those guys with them stepping outside their race and dating other ethnicities, look, man, what's the matter with that? This is human nature. I'm fucking with who fucking with me. Like, if I'm moving throughout society, I'm moving and grooving, and no matter who it is, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a business transaction, I'm dealing with whoever decides to deal with me, right? And if this person just so happens to be a different race, then so be it. It has nothing to do with self-hatred. What it has to do is with the mindset of this is a logical way to go about the scenario. I like girls. I think she's cute. I think she's cute. I shoot my shot at her. She not fucking with me. And then if old girl over here is, then guess what? That's who I'm talking to. That's literally what happened. I don't see how you can spin that and make that into a situation where I don't love myself. You know, to me, that's just ridiculous shit to me that just turns me in a different direction when it comes to Umar because he's not reasonable in his approach to fixing a problem that he think is occurring in society, right? You have to be logical and methodical and you have to live in 20 fucking 23 to know how to fix this kind of shit, right? And when you're an extremist, to me, that's where you turn me off because I can't get behind or support an extremist because they don't know which way is up or down or left or right because all they care about is what agenda that they're trying to push at that particular time. And whatever sounds good and whatever monkey wrench they can throw into something to get themselves clicks and views because that's what a lot of this shit is, man. Just like we're talking about it, he hate himself, right? So people gonna be like, man, Ben Umar said X, Y, and Z. A lot of this shit's the clicks and views to keep somebody relevant, man. Who been trying to open he ain't talking about the need, he talking about that fucking school that he been trying to open since 1987. How about that?
19.
He wanna talk about some other shit. You understand what I'm saying? So look, bro. Look, man, and at the end of the day, man, what my man Ocho do and what Shannon do, that's entirely up to them. Both of those brothers, right? Ocho is last I checked, did he marry a white woman? No.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. Does Shannon have have children by white women? Last I checked, no. So man, let's just get off the bullshit. Who you decide to lay with, man, is your prerogative, and Ben Umar just need to mind his fucking business, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Yep,
and as a society, man, you know, brothers and sisters of all different ethnicity and races, it is possible for us to get along. But you know, that comes with self-pride, and that self-pride, I'm a representation of the black race. So when I elevate myself, I elevate the people who are around me. I elevate the black race. You understand what I'm saying? And I can do that in sequence with dealing with other people from different ethnicity groups and different cultures, right? But at the same time, I need to be smart and methodical in the way I move throughout society and handle my business accordingly. I don't give a fuck who's on the other side of that relationship. I'm gonna treat everybody the same, and I expect the same thing from other people. You can't be that guy, right? That's condemning. Cause look, man, I can't be mad at my coworker who's the same age as me for what his third great granddaddy did to my third great granddaddy. That shit really ain't got nothing to do with him. I mean, it really don't. Now I can tell him and I can explain to him the effects that it had down the line and how people are still suffering from it for today. But just because you're suffering from something don't mean you're not operational. We still gotta operate in society. You understand what I'm saying? And it starts with helping people like him who may not understand. Once he gets a good understanding, then maybe he can start helping in creating progress to move along in their healing as well as our healing. Because a lot of these white people, they embarrassed and ashamed of their shit. They can't believe some of the shit that their elders did to people. You understand what I'm saying? And obviously, you know what we've been through. So it's a healing process for both parties. Obviously, we're the priority, but at the same time, these motherfuckers need to understand how they can contribute in that healing, and hence it helps them heal as well. That's all I'm saying, bro.
All right, cool. Now with that lack of self-control, and we clear that Ben Umar political bullshit up. Jay Cotto, let's cook on some sports and boxing, right? What's your thoughts on? We're gonna do Earl Spence and we're gonna do the big Tyson Fury fight. And we're gonna do the Ben Videz and Boo Boo fight as well too. What's your thoughts on Earl Spence and the new media plays that he looks out of shape? Is that old pictures, new pictures? Is it look like he's going to get his ass whooped? Is he weight drained? What's your thoughts on the new Earl Spence Jr. news of him appearing or looking like he's not in shape? And then Phil, you got it from there.
Well, I mean, look, from my perspective, I see it like this. Errol Spence Jr. has failed himself like 2.5, maybe 3 years in the making. You know what I'm saying? We all sat back and wanted this fight to go. Those that actually paid attention, those that knew that the fighter who was most active was going to win this fight, basically won this fight because he kept his skill, basically edged up. And I just see it like this: the professional is basically Crawford, and Spence is basically not the professional. I don't really expect anything new from Errol Spence Jr. I think that this is the highest Errol Spence Jr. is ever going to go. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go out on my shield, like I always do, and say that this is basically Errol Spence Jr.'s last fight, simply because this time he's going to get beat the fuck up. The most he can bring to this fight is a little bit more resilience, which is going to get him beat the fuck up. The longer this fight goes, the more beat the fuck up he's going to get. Now that's going to really take a toll on him. This is why I say this. PBC all around business within the sport of boxing has been a failure. A lot of us seen this coming before it was made. The moment that we found out that they were giving him starting $2.5 million and shit for signing and stuff like that, we already knew. And then when we heard, where PBC was basically bankrupt and they owned the investors and stuff, we already knew it was coming. The thing here is that a lot of people like to point the fingers and say that we were wrong when we knew what the hell we were talking about, because we've seen franchises come and go, we've seen fighters come and go, promotions come and go, all types of legal actions against all types of sanctioned bodies and stuff. So we know what we're talking about. No disrespect to the new media. And those that consist of the new media that are old school like us, then y'all need to step the fuck up and start telling the truth. Now, if Errol Spence Jr. looks out of shape, then call it. If he doesn't look out of shape, then call that too. But just don't, set a narrative where you're going to coin off of people's, anticipations or any type of questions, because that's not really reporting. That's not journalism with integrity. You know what that's being? That's being a con artist. So I think that those that are gonna actually hold the power of the media in their hand, they really need to really tell the truth here. Now, I've taken a look at it, and like I said, whether he's in shape, he can be in the best shape of his life. It's not going to play out different. I mean, his numbers already had. This man has caused himself 2.5 to maybe 3 years of inactivity, in which he could have been going through many selections of skills in order to prepare for this big defense that he was supposed to go through. And it is what it is. All respect to Errol Spence Jr., whatever future endeavors he's going to have. If he stays in boxing, good for him. But personally, I'm not expecting anything as to bar raising coming from Errol Spence Jr. I think that this is where he's going to stay. He was exciting at one point. Now he's mediocre. He's going to stay there.
Phil, what you got on that? And people reporting that Earl Spence out of shape and all that kind of stuff. What you got on that?
Well, look, man, this is my deal. Him being out, I mean, that's not nothing new. You understand what I'm saying? Him being out of shape, he did go through a stint prior to the Crawford fight where he was, supposedly staying in shape and being prepared because they couldn't figure out when the actual fight date was going to be. So he had to kind of stay on his P's and Q's in order to be prepared for the fight, right? So we saw what the result was at that particular time, right? So if they're reporting that Earl Spence Jr. is currently out of shape, I mean, that's more the same of what we're used to seeing. I'll tell you one even better, like, because we could sit here and we can go back and forth, but the history shows that traditionally Earl Spence Jr. would always get out of shape in between fights. And we saw what he went into the ring and done to his previous opponents before Bud. This fight, he pretty much stayed in shape Then he also had a training camp, and he went in and got his ass whooped. So if you ask me, shit, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I think he's in a situation where, hey, you tried it one way, and I tried the old way. You understand what I'm saying? But the truth of the matter, whether he's in shape or whether he's not in shape, Earl Spence Jr. just doesn't have enough skill to beat Terrence Bud Crawford. He can have the best training camp in the world. He can be in the best shape he's ever been in. He can be in the worst shape he's ever been in and have the worst training camp he's ever been in. The results are going to be the same because some fighters just have your card. Do I think Earl Spence is still a good fighter? Yeah, he just isn't the guy that's going to beat Terrence Crawford. So unfortunately for him, he's scheduled to fight this guy again. And if he thinks he has a chance, you know, he's earned that or deserved that per what the contract says. So give it to him. We'll see how he fares. Me personally, I don't think he's going to fare well. So, you know, shout out to Earl Spence for at least attempting to take the fight and get his leg back. I can tell you, man, he ain't no punk. I give him that. Because after you get your ass whooped like that, it will take some thinking. You know, sometimes you just got to know when to hold him and when to fold him. I think I would probably have said, you know what? Hey, Terrence Bud Crawford's undisputed. Let him go worry about other things. I'm going to move up to 154 and start trying to build myself back up and create a different lane for myself. You understand what I'm saying? I tried the Crawford thing. It didn't work. You know, let me move on from it. But he said no. So he obviously believes that he still has a chance to beat the guy. So with that being said, man, salute to him. But he's not going to beat Terrence Bud Crawford. And that's all I got to say about that. So I don't give a fuck how he looking in camp.
Regardless, right? And then we're going to Shelton join in on us. I don't know if you've been hearing the topics. We were talking about politics infiltrating into sports. Shelton, this is motivated by Dr. Ben Umar Johnson having this consistent stick in his ass about what Deion Sanders has done or not. He's recently turned loose on Chad Johnson, Terrell Owens, and Shannon Sharp about their testimony about being dark-skinned guys dealing with their own black women and being rejected and kind of transitioning to people who fuck with them, which sometimes be outside of the race. So we were speaking on it if you're familiar with that. Also, we touched on the Earl Spence out of shapeness or appearing to be out of shape or the new photos that's arrived. So we're going to let you cook on those three if you want. And then we're going to transition to this Tyson Fury and Benavidez and Boo Boo fight. And we're going to finish off with a PED talk about LeBron James. But go ahead. What you want to say to any of that to catch up?
Well, thank you, brother. Good morning, fellas. How y'all doing? Shit. Umar Johnson always got something to say. And usually what he say don't make no motherfucking sense. So, you know, he got his own perspective on shit, you know, in the little bubble world he lives in. You know, them niggas is speaking on what happened to them. You know what I'm saying? I don't see why you got such a problem with it. Deion Sanders, all he doing is bringing money and eyes to college football and showing these old school coaches and these old school administrators that it's a new way to do things. And he's being very successful at it. You know, they only won one game last year. I think for the last 10 years, they averaged like 2 or 3 wins. He's already got 4 wins this year. You know, so he wins a couple more games, he's bowl eligible, and nobody expected that. And give that man a couple more years with the star power he has and the ability to recruit. Give him a couple more years, he's gonna be in the playoff. So, you know, that's enough about Deion. We all know what Deion doing. Deion is a winner. Deion winning. He won everywhere he been. So that's just niggas. That's I don't understand these brothers, man. They say they for our people, but when our people start doing things and excelling in an area, the first thing they want to do is tear them down. So, you know, go figure. T.O., Shannon Sharp, Chad Johnson saying they fuck with people who fuck with them. I mean, you know, that's their choice. You know what I'm saying? You know, if any of you have ever watched a football game, especially a college football game, look in the stand. What do you see? Anybody? What do you see?
Yeah, go ahead, Sheldon. You got the floor. I know you do the
Oh,
question thing,
yeah.
but you got it.
You
'Cause,
see, you see nothing but white folk. You know what I'm saying? So when you've been inundated and surrounded by white folk for most of your life, people usually gravitate to what they see the most. So we'll just leave that there. And like my man Phil said about Earl, does it even matter? The biggest knock on him is he been out of shape. So ain't nothing new. Don't even matter. He can't whoop the dude anyway. He couldn't whoop the dude 5 years ago. Can't whoop him now. You know, but hey, you gonna get your bag, get back in there. Get your ass whooped again. Don't make no difference to me.
okay, and then we'll rotate it back around. We'll start with you then. What you got on the? Everybody seen the and then Dogger fight or whatever versus Tyson Fury. What's your thoughts on that, man?
Oh, it was shocking to me. The dude did way better than I thought he was gonna do. He was faster than I thought. He came in so big. He came in at 272 pounds. Big dude. You know what I'm saying? It's the first time Fury been in there with somebody he couldn't bully. The dude was a lot faster than I thought. Now the skills wasn't there. I still thought Fury won the fight. As far as outboxing the dude, he pulled it out. But that dude did way better than I thought. So either he's a lot better athlete, better boxer than we thought, or Fury is slipping a little bit because Fury is 35.
Okay, Jay Cotto, what you got there, Phil? What you got on the Tyson Fury situation in the recent fight?
Well, I'm gonna say it like this, brother. Right? Francis, I can't say his last name, so fuck you if you laugh. Fucking Naganu, right? That's his nigga name, right? He did very fucking well, all right. Like the Irish, the drunken Irishman said, Carlos Mendoza. He said this shit played out like a Rocky film. You know what I'm saying? Where you know, Rocky was, he wasn't expected to do so well, and he did well. You know what I'm saying? And if there's a rematch, I really don't care because to me, it's still hybrid boxing. Now they're talking Wilder in Naganu's path, or Anthony Joshua now this morning in his path too. And it's like, I listen. I really don't care. All I know is that Tyson Fury, at one point he was everybody's hero, especially those that felt like Wilder was basically holding that WBC for ransom or whatever. And when he finally took it, we followed the promise that he was going to be a defending champion. And we said, yes, finally, the title's going to be in contention. We're going to have a good defender here. Then there's possibility of a fucking unified heavyweight champion coming to fruition. Nope. If anything, he did worse. Now I hear that this Usyk fight, well, one of his people said that Usyk is not really next. I mean, it's just a whole bunch of shit with Tyson Fury, and I'm sick of this big for nothing, cream powder puff, fake ass fucking gypsy fighter. I'm sick of him. I'm tired of him. I've been tired of him. Even when he fought fucking Wilder, right? I just wanted him to take the title. If it was Joshua, which I respect more than Fury, I would have been like, okay, Joshua, take it. Had it been Andy Ruiz going up, I wanted anybody to take it from Wilder, not because he's black, not because, no, it had nothing to do with the tribalism. It just had to do with the way, because where I come from in 1984, I've seen motherfuckers, put the title in contention, right? That's what we thought, and that's what I thought Wilder was going to become. But once I saw him fighting setups and shit and things, he was doing things that weren't really, and he fighting only two of the tops that they're struggling, and then him tarnish me, seeing him tarnish his whole style. I was like, man, this guy, right? So for me, Tyson Fury can have several fucking seats. You know what I mean? I'll give him a love seat if he needs it, a recliner. Just sit back, bro. You're not gonna give us anything. There's nothing that you've really done. You've defeated yourself in that ring before. You continue to do it. I don't know what fan base. Maybe the crazed ones are the ones that you're clinging on to because those are the ones that are actually convince you to take the easy route in what you're doing. Okay, fine. But at the same time, you can't you can't align yourself with the greats, bro. You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't even say that you're a greater champion than Anthony Joshua because you still wouldn't even out. My man had 3 straps, bro, and was on a title defense for defending them for a very long time. What have you done? You've been running, been ducking, hiding. You're the limbo master. You fucking suck, son. It ain't because you white. It ain't because of anything like that. It's, bro, I believed in you at one point, and now you became this cover girl, just like everyone else. When you have the title, yes, the WBC was once prestigious. It stopped being prestigious once all of you, not just Wilder, not just Fury, all of you guys who held it and just kept doing this cover girl shit. You're taking pictures with it. You're taking pictures with it. You're being recognized, but now you're not holding up that body of work, son. And that's what sucks about you. And you're holding up, I repeat, you're holding up the damn division. All right? We're supposed to, 2 years ago, we were supposed to have a unified champion, bro. 2 years ago. But because of you, and you're lying, and if y'all want to try to forget because you're Fury fans, let me remind you. Because I like doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Let me remind you. Let me put my hand up your ass. Let me remind you. This is the same motherfucker that knew that he was under arbitration with Wilder. Not saying that Wilder was right, but you know what I'm saying? It happened to be true. He was under arbitration with Wilder, but then wants to announce, "Hey, Tyson Fury, and just here to tell you that the fight between me and Anthony Joshua has been signed." Lies. 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 Had us all jumping up and down. Finally, then all of a sudden, Heartbreak Hotel, son. So fuck you. Fuck you. All right, Fury? You to me, you are the most irrelevant motherfucker right now, son. Like, please, please, please. I don't care who you fight next if it ain't gonna be Usyk. And if it is Usyk, I got Usyk fucking neutralizing you from the 7th round and finally fucking having, and he's not gonna knock you out. You too big for that. But he's gonna land so many hands on you, they're gonna stop the fight, bro. They're gonna throw in the towel, they're gonna stop the fight. You know what I'm saying? And that's because you're going to be too tired. You're not in tune. You're fucking around. Silk Sheets. Marvin Hagler. Fuck you.
All right, Phil, it's on you. What's your thoughts on it, on the big heavyweight fight?
Yeah, look, man, it's the thing, man. Francis Ngannou is the best mixed martial arts fighter in the world. Let's start with that, right? Francis Ngannou, again, 270 pounds of muscle. The guy's what, 6'6", 270? I mean, and he's a professional fighter who's at the top of his game. Let's just start. That's just his credentials before he even steps into the ring with Tyson Fury, right? The next thing, right? During the process leading up to the fight, Francis Ngannou reached out to boxing legends in guys like Teddy Atlas, guys like Mike Tyson, and he was the guy that was seeking advice going into a boxing match. Now, obviously, Francis Ngannou doesn't have any official boxing training, but he has what they call striking training, right? So he wanted to get the ins and outs, certain fundamental movements of a boxer, and he went to the guys that he thought could help them. To me, it seems that he took these guys' advice, he took training serious, okay, and he went in to fight Tyson Fury just like he would have went in and prepared for an MMA fight, right? Is he better than I anticipated? Yes, he is better than I anticipated. But this is the deal right here. You're talking about the heavyweight guys, right? You're not talking about the guys that, move around a whole bunch. I mean, these guys wasn't doing a whole bunch of moving around. It's little subtle things that Tyson Fury does well in order to propel him against these other heavyweights that he's been beating for such a long time. You understand what I'm saying? And again, man, this is the result of why styles absolutely 110% make fights, right? Francis Ngannou had a style in which he employed against Tyson Fury that, for one, he wasn't going to be bullied. Two, I don't think Tyson Fury could hurt Francis. So he kept coming forward and he kept throwing his shots, right? And three, the guy listens, man. He's listening to his corner, right? So based off of what your corner is telling you while you're in a active live fight could be helpful to you just for surviving the fight, let alone making it competitive. I do think Tyson Fury did win the fight, but Francis won the night though. And when I say he won the night, it's because he did perform so well. Tyson Fury to me did not look good, and I've been a huge Tyson Fury fan. But I'm gonna hold this guy accountable. So Tyson Fury did not look good. This was not his best performance. Francis did well, so you got to give him his props. But Tyson Fury edged that fight out by the skin of his teeth. You understand what I'm saying? But I like Francis in boxing because he is a heavyweight and he does have that fighter mentality, that fighter spirit. He just needs to um, employ some more skill to it, and that comes with time. But the best thing about being a heavyweight, all it takes is that one punch. And a 275-pound man throwing them bows, that thing can end at any given time, as we seen against Tyson Fury. So, to me, Francis is a good addition. It's going to bring more fans to the sport, especially to the heavyweight division. He's a crossover guy, and I think he's probably the best crossover guy that we've seen. You understand what I'm saying? And he did it against the the WBC heavyweight champion of the world. So again, you know, he's going to be right at home if he decides to keep on boxing. You understand what I'm saying? But what my man Jedi was speaking about as far as Tyson Fury, look, man, I don't think Fury's holding up the division. We could have been had undisputed even before Fury came around with Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua. You know, the truth of the matter is, man, Fury does things on his own time. He fought Vladimir Klitschko. He's fought Deontay Wilder. He's fought Dillian White. He's fought Derek Chisora several times. I mean, if you really want to be honest about it, you can make an argument that Fury could potentially have the best resume as an active heavyweight at the time. And he's also undefeated. You understand what I'm saying? And he's also a two-time champion coming out of retirement. The truth of the matter is, man, expect the unexpected when it comes to Tyson Fury. Nothing that he does is a surprise to me. But Tyson Fury always does what's right, just like he rematched Deontay Wilder twice, not once, but twice. Just like he said he was going to fight against Usyk. We got to understand, man, these guys don't move on our timeline. They move on their own. But ultimately, Tyson Fury will fight Usyk. We will have an undisputed champion. And I think it's going to be within the next fight or two. So I'm riding with Fury to the wheels fall off because I have rolled with Fury since the beginning. You understand what I'm saying? I don't do the things where I compare generational fighters. I think if you're the greatest in your generation, that's just what it is. And right now, Tyson Fury is absolutely the best thing that this generation has seen. Considering the performances that he's put on, the opponents that he's beat, and he has one more to beat to solidify himself as the GOAT of his generation, right? And when it comes to all these other guys, they need to step in the ring with one another. You still have Deontay Wilder. You still have a guy like Anthony Joshua who can fight. You still got the Andy Ruiz's laying around. Truth of the matter is, none of these guys are hellified active fighters. You understand what I'm saying? So they all can do an uptick in their activity, all of them, and give the fans more volume. But ultimately, man, the cream's gonna always rise to the top. And right now, it's Usyk and it's Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King. Hopefully, those guys give us that undisputed fight early next year.
No doubt, Mr. Walker. If you can help me with something, right? If you can help me with something, because you're the only one that I've heard pronounce correctly. Could you help me pronounce? And this is no joke, because ask anybody. I have a problem. I don't know what it is. I can't pronounce Francis's last name. Could you help me pronounce this? I think that you speak very clearly, my friend. Could you help me pronounce his last name?
Ngannou.
All right. And Egna, fuck. Ngannou. Wait, Ngannou.
Yeah, that's it
En-
right there. Yup.
Ngannou.
There you
Ngannou.
go.
All
There
right,
you go.
thank you.
That's it.
Ngannou. Thank you, my friend. All right. You see how I fucked up in the beginning there? I always had that. It's the beginning, the entrance of the Angana. Like that shit right there. It keeps me rolling, man. Thank you, Mr. Walker. Thank you, brother.
Okay.
Ngannou.
All
Got you.
right. Yeah,
Ngannou.
okay. All right. So Ngannou. So what's y'all thoughts? And we'll close it out on this one, man. And let's say it might, and of course I'm gonna open the floor back up for y'all to close out or whatever. What about coming up the next fight, Benavidez versus Andrade? What's your thoughts on that, Jedi? And then Phil, you go ahead.
No doubt. I got Andrade. I got Benavidez simply because he's been more active. I always judge fights like this where one has a hot name but he hasn't been around for a while because he's been searching and then he's been canceling, then he's been searching and then you've got one that and we know he's skilled. I'm not taking nothing away from Andrade, but it's just the activity's gonna catch up to him. As to the man who has been named the Mexican monster by none other than the great Mike Tyson. I just think that his activity has been very good, and I think that him taking Andrade out the picture right now, it won't cause too much not confusion, but it won't put too much on the plate on that division because right now it's up in shambles, and we all know that. So I think that this ironing Andrade's name out or maybe Andrade winning if he does, but I'm going for Benavidez. But Andrade, if he does win, then it'll iron him into a picture where now he can actually call a Canelo's name because he got Benavidez out. But if Benavidez gets Andrade out, I think it irons that out much neater. We have a clearer picture of what's coming down the line. It'll probably be a Canelo next for Benavidez. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, or maybe a Charlo. Who knows? If he does come back because he's been training or whatever. But I just need this to be ironed out. So I think that between these two, we'll see a bit more of a polish well needed in that division to see exactly where people stand because it's been a whole fucking confusion. It could just be just me, but it's very confusing, and that's just basically it. So my money's on Andrade, man.
You mean
No,
Benavidez?
Benavidez. I'm sorry, my money's on
Yeah, yeah,
Benavidez.
yeah,
Sorry, my bad.
yeah.
All right. And then Phil,
So yeah, man, you know what it is with me, man. I'm a supporter of Canelo Alvarez. Excuse me, of Benavidez, and I think the guy has truly been doing everything right, man. Since he literally dropped the ball twice. I think he's doing a lot better, obviously, considering why he dropped the ball. I'm sure everybody has family members that's been through something like a drug addiction. So I'm sure it's probably a struggle for him each and every day, right? But considering the circumstance now, I think he's doing what he needs to do to put himself in the best position possible to prevail in the sport of boxing. With that being said, right now Demetrius Andrade is in his way, right? And Demetrius Andrade is another guy who has had self-inflicted wounds in his boxing career, right? Now, two totally different kinds of wounds. Nevertheless, Andrade has had the opportunities that Benavidez is seeking and just completely uh, threw them down the drain. You understand what I'm saying? Now he's on the back end of his career and he's trying to make a last push to at least make some kind of legacy for Demetrius Andrade. Because right now, as it sits, Demetrius Andrade legacy is shit. We don't even know if the guy is truly a plus or even B plus fighter. You understand what I'm saying? Although he is a two division champ, you cannot take those accolades away from him. And right now, he's trying to scale a different division at 168 pounds to solidify himself in that division to see if he can be a three division champion. Um, and he's up against the Mexican monster, as my man Jay Cotto just said. So I'm going with David Benavidez because I think he is obviously he's a younger fighter. I think he's the hungrier fighter. I think that he has a style that's going to basically dominate over Demetrius Andrade's style. Because truth of the matter is, I really don't know what style Demetrius Andrade fights in. At one point in time, I thought he was really skillful. In his older age, he's gotten sloppier. To me, his footwork isn't as good as it once appeared. And his style of fighting is not what's the word am I looking for? Is not suitable for moving up in weight, right? Because he's never been a big power puncher, okay? And he's really not that A-plus boxer that he claims to be. So I think by him moving up with bigger guys, bigger punchers, and him also being vulnerable to getting hit, I think he's just going to farewell. We're going to have to say a farewell to Demetrius Andrade, and it's going to be at 168 pounds because I believe Benavidez is going to stop him. You know. Now, what these guys do from here, if one of these guys win, I look at it like this right here, man. You got Canelo Alvarez, who's been around boxing for a very long time, okay, who's accomplished extreme things in the sport of boxing. And you have somebody in Demetrius Andrade that people said that Canelo Alvarez ducked early in his career. And now you have a guy like David Benavidez, who people are saying Canelo Alvarez is ducking on the back end of his career. You know, as my man said, I think this is the perfect fight to iron out some of this speculation. But the only way this speculation gets ironed out is if Canelo Alvarez fights the winner of this one next. You have the early duck and you have the late duck, right? You understand what I'm saying? So guess what? You kill two birds or two ducks with one stone, shall I say, by competing and beating whoever's the winner of this fight. And we can finally get a conclusion of who Demetrius Andrade is, and we can finally get a conclusion on who we think David Benavidez could potentially be. And Canelo Alvarez is who he is, whether he loses to the guy or wins the fight at the end of the day.
I agree. I agree with that. You know, I don't like Andrade at all. He ain't worth two fucks. I think he gonna get that stop. Shit, that nigga just sloppy and all that bullshit in the above. I just get Jay Cotto's take while he on here. All right, man, we finna wrap up, man, and make our rounds and give everybody else a shot. So, Jay Cotto, tell us what it is. Last closing thoughts on anything you want to speak on, anything else that we missed, and you got the flow, man. Tell them where they can find you and everything.
No doubt, man. Just want to thank Zone 6 Sports. No doubt, man. My man Zone 6, man. Keep banging, man. Keep bringing the illest content. You know what I'm saying? It's good to see you back, Mr. Veteran. You know what I'm saying? I also want to thank each and every one of you boxing heads out there, man. Please keep boxing alive and honest. You know what I mean? Call it down the line. Mr. Walker, thank you very much for helping me pronounce that and for your boxing insight. No doubt, man. Go check out Mr. Walker as well. Please support Zone 6, man. No doubt. However you can, man. Like, share, subscribe. Cash App, do whatever you got to do, whatever it is that he's asking for support. Please help the brother out, man. He's been here for a long time. You know, he's one of the innovators. So please, man, pay respects. My name is Jay Cotto the Jedi. You can catch me on the Jedi channel. No doubt, just type in the Jedi. I'm there where I speak everything. I'm well rounded off in every piece of content in life. And of course, Zone 6 is my brother here. You know what I mean? And in life, man. So everybody, man, support Zone 6. Thank you, Zone. Mr. Walker, y'all have a good day. Peace, everybody.
All right, Cotto. All right.
Yeah.
How you feel?
Yeah, man. Y'all know what it is, man. I'm here, constant. You dig? Often and always. I'm a man, Coach K, Zone 6 channel. You know what I'm saying? YouTube sports community. Obviously, today we sprinkled in some political bits that's crossed over into sports. You understand what I'm saying? So it was a good show, man. I've been listening in to it. I had to jump on. With that being said, man, I think boxing is still in a good place. I think boxing is as better as better and big as it's been in a very long time. You understand what I'm saying? And obviously that's good for the sport because we all have grown to love this sport. And at one point in time, it seemed like it was completely dying out, right? And that's just not the case because these guys are giving us fights that we want to see. You understand what I'm saying? Um, with that being said, man, salute to the panel. Salute to everybody who was down there in the chat. And yeah, man, y'all know where y'all can find me. The Fix Sports TV. You understand what I'm saying? THA space FIX space sports, one word, TV, right? So that's where you can find me at, or you can go to my IG page, THAA_FIX. You'll see me, man. It's Phil Walker, man. Y'all know how I do. Also, today, this afternoon, I'm gonna be going live, okay? Discussing some again, a little bit of this boxing, a little bit of this football, and a little bit of this basketball. You know what I'm saying? This is a sports community channel, and that's what I do, man. I talk about all sports. Obviously, we have the baseball champions in the Texas Rangers. We're gonna talk about that. You know, it's a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on. So we're gonna cover all that this evening. So y'all boys be on the lookout for that. Like I said, the Fix Sports TV, man. Holla at me.
All right, man. Y'all heard it from Phil. He said he gonna be live in HD here shortly. But that's it, man, for today, man. We talked about some politics, some social issues, surrounding around Ben Umar's comments about Deion Sanders and what he may or may not mean to the culture, and his position on Shannon Sharp, Chad Ochocinco Johnson, and Terrell Owens talking about their experiences with women that look like them and how they transition to probably dating outside of their race. We got the Demetrius Andrade thing got the way, people waiting on that fight. The Ngannou fight or whatever versus Tyson Fury. That's a good one that we covered. And we got to see what's next, man. And we waiting on it. So that's all I got, man, for today. Been a good show. It's been a couple of hours. So we've been in here doing our thing. So we're going to go ahead and roll with the outro, right?
Allow me to introduce the boxing round table. Yeah.
Rollo Jenkins, boxologist, Zone 6, Dre, BT Pound, 78 Fight News, Blood Boxing, Blood Fists, Boxing Beats and Rhymes, Female Boxing Fan, Carter J, Pull Counter, Joker Boxing, D Styles, the whole YTBC.